Into the Super Bowl, Anderson teamed with rookie Chris Collinsworth to key the Bengals' offensive attack. Plays like that 49-yard gain last Sunday, evidence of their impeccable timing. Today, you'll see Anderson and Montana again as they lead their respective conferences in the Pro Bowl. For Montana and the 49ers, a dream season in the playoffs for the first time since '72. San Francisco won its first ever NFC title January 10th when in the final minute of play, Montana threw in the direction of Dwight Clark, whose leaping catch beat the Cowboys and sent the 49ers on to the Super Bowl. Michigan is a memory for Montana and Clark now as they bask in the warmth of Hawaii. The football season climaxes today as the focus shifts from Detroit to Diamond Head and a capacity crowd settles in at Aloha. An extravagant pregame pageant here today, so that ran a little bit long. The kickoff delayed momentarily. Right now, the toss of the coin at midfield with Red Cashin, the referee. This game sold out
it's heads, your choice.
shortly after the tickets went on sale.
You want the ball? Turn around.
The Pro Bowl finding a most comfortable home in Hawaii.
Won the toss, will receive. Gentlemen, let's play football.
NFC to receive. The game, of course, was played in Los Angeles for years. It was played there exclusively prior to the merger, and then 2 years after the merger in 1970, then moved around. And here in Hawaii since 1980. This is the third year. Backup. An unusual role for that man, but that's what the Pro Bowl is like when you've got Dan Fouts beginning the game on the bench. Of course, it's Ken Anderson who gets the start for the AFC. And on the NFC side, the big man for the 49ers as they won Super Bowl 16 last week in Pontiac, Joe Montana. He'll be backed up by the Atlanta Falcons' Steve Bartkowski. The coaches, by the way, for the AFC, Don Shula of the Miami Dolphins, and for the NFC, it's John McKay of Tampa Bay.
And Al, two different approaches to preparing for this game this week as we look at Kenny Anderson, who is the MVP in the AFC and really played a very fine Super Bowl game. His team was on the short end of the stick, but Kenny brought his team back and played very well. And there's Don Shula, and as we're about to say, Shula this week has worked his troops pretty hard, Al. They've gone with pads on every day. That's very unusual for a Pro Bowl game. They've worked 2 hours a day, and John McKay, his team has worked 45 minutes a day, no pads, very light. NFC players were very happy about that, I must add.
Shula's had success in Pro Bowls in the past. He's coached in two, won them both. The AFC to kick off, with Nick Lowry to put it in the air. Billy Sims, number 20, is back deep. Number 23 is Mike Nelms of the Washington Redskins. Each team with a 40-man roster, and one kick return specialist was named for each team. That is Nelms for the NFC, and it's Carl Roaches of Houston for the AFC. So for the third year in a row, the Pro Bowl at Aloha Stadium, and here we go. A high kick that will fall into the arms of Nelms at the 13, out past the 20, to the 25, and run out of bounds near the 28-yard line by Donnie Shell. So the NFC on 1st and 10 with Joe Montana leading it. He should be in for a couple or maybe 3 series initially. And then you've got Tony Dorsett and Billy Sims starting as the running backs. Jenkins of the Falcons, Lofton of the Packers, Giles of Tampa Bay are the receivers. Ken, Cross, Saul, Scott, and Donovan. Scott and Donovan, the Cowboys, on the left side. 1st and 10 for the NFC from the 28-yard line. And Montana going straight to the air with a little screen at the 20-yard line. Unable to hold on there. Tony Dorsett. Robert Brazil in on the play of the Houston Oilers. Defensively for the AFC, the bookends, part of the New York Sack Exchange, of course. You've got Klecko and Gastineau with Johnson and Baumhauer in the middle. Brazil of the Oilers, Lambert of the Steelers, Hendricks of the Raiders are the linebackers. The defensive backs, you've got 2 Steelers, Blunt and Shell, along with Barbaro of the Chiefs and Hayes of Oakland. 2nd down, 10 from the 28-yard line. With Lofton split to the right, it's Dorsett. Out past the 30, Tony takes it out to the 32-yard line. Dorsett, another scintillating season, over the 1,000-yard mark again in his 5th NFL year. Mark Gastineau, number 99 of the Jets, in on the tackle.
Now, the thing about this game, Al, they do not have any blitzing except when it's a third or short coverage situation. They have to play one defensive pass coverage. That's a zone, which is always done to the strong side of the field. So it helps the offense a little bit from that standpoint.
Ball out at the 32-yard line. 3rd down and 7. Split backs this time. Montana with a straight drop and good protection, and as he did during the regular season, scrambling for the first down. Out to the 41-yard line, run out by Lester Hayes.
Do you remember the days when they said you cannot win with a running or scrambling quarterback? And we had 2 in the Super Bowl. Here's Montana, who's, I think the greatest asset he has is his great instinct of knowing where he is on the football field. He also has pretty good feet, throws the ball pretty well too, but his instinct of knowing where he is his greatest asset. And if he hasn't made a believer out of you people out there watching this, he's made a believer out of me.
You can appreciate the scrambling more, of course, than Mr. Tarkenton. At the 41-yard line, it's 1st and 10 with William Andrews in the game, number 31 of the Falcons. On a delay, it's Dorsett taking it out close to the 45-yard line. Tony with a second carry. Too Tall Jones of the Dallas Cowboys.
Very interesting. Too Tall left football to go into boxing for 1 year, and since he has been back, he has played his best football at Dallas and probably had his best year this year.
6th year in the league, and yet this is the first time he has been to the Pro Bowl.
Too Tall is only 6'9".
2nd down, 6. The NFC in blue from the 45-yard line. No score early in the first quarter. Dorsett finding no room at all and dropped back at the 41-yard line near the original line of scrimmage. Joe Klecko, number 71, in on the stop.
You know, Al, in this game, there's, pride is a word used a lot in sports, but there's a tremendous amount of pride in a game like this. These are the elite of the National Football League. They don't want to be embarrassed. They want to impress their peer group that are in this game, and you will see all the players play very, very hard.
AFC goes to the nickel defense. The extra back is in, 3rd down, 10 from the 41-yard line. Montana, who scrambled for the first down, throws this time and dropped at the 40-yard line by Alfred Jenkins.
Did he put it on the numbers or not? Tremendous throw. All right, here comes Alfred Jenkins. Now, you've got to remember, he's been out of football for about 4 weeks because the Falcons did not make the playoffs. Runs the pattern on Blunt. Doesn't have much to go with there. But this ball was thrown in the only place it could have been thrown, and Alfred just didn't catch it.
Each team with 1 punter, 1 place kicker, 1 kick return specialist. That's Carl Roches, the kick specialist from Houston, and Tom Skladany, named to the NFC team as the punter from the Lions. Roches at the 20-yard line to the 25, and a 10-yard run back takes it to the 30. Frank LeMaster, the Eagle linebacker, making the tackle. So the AFC takes over offensively for the first time. 12:20 to go, first period, and no score from Honolulu. Yard line, 1st and 10. AFC taking over offensively for the first time in the game. Ken Anderson of the Bengals is the quarterback. And he gives it to his teammate, Pete Johnson, who gets about 2. Anderson, who will be backed up by Dan Fouts, appearing in his 3rd Pro Bowl. Now, offensively, for the AFC, the running backs, Pete Johnson and Joe Delaney. Johnson's in there because Anderson is in there. Campbell was actually named as the starter. He's got Watson, Collinsworth, and Winslow as the receivers, with Powell, Hanna, Webster, Wilkerson, and Munoz up front. Pickup of 3 for Johnson, and to the 2nd down and 7. The Kansas City rookie, Joe Delaney, stopped at the line of scrimmage. Ronnie Lott coming up from the corner, the sensational rookie from the 49ers, to make the tackle. The National Conference, defensively, Selman, White, English, and Jones, 2 Cowboys there, White and Jones, Blair of the Vikings, and then the 2 Giants, Carson and Taylor, the linebackers. NFC secondary, the rookie Lott, Cromwell of the Rams, Fensick of Chicago, Young from Philadelphia. 3rd down, 7 from the 33-yard line. Early in the first period, no score. Anderson's first pass of the day. If he can get it away, and like Montana, he scrambles, picks up the first down, and slides out to the 43-yard line, reminiscent of last week, as Cromwell comes up to make the stop.
Well, there he is. During the season, Anderson rushed for over 300 yards. Very unusual for a quarterback to have 300 yards rushing. It's not easy to get a pass rush in this game because you're only rushing 4 people, no blitzing. Anderson had a little gap, took it, and got his first down.
Second leading ground gainer this year for the Bengals, back of Johnson. First and 10 from the 42-yard line. Anderson going to the 45-yard line to Chris Collinsworth. The two Bengals teaming up for a first down as they move the ball into NFC territory.
There's Shoes. Shula took up tennis about 4 years ago. Got to be a very avid tennis player. He's got good weather to play it in over here. He's got his shades on. Not unlike Miami weather, though. He's used to it.
At the age of 51, winning the AFC East with Miami this year, and then, of course, they lost in the sensational playoff game on the 2nd of January to San Diego. From the 44-yard line on first down, it's the big one, Johnson.
Is he a load or not?
Well, Pete normally weighs in around 248, 249. It's hot enough today. You're going to lose a few pounds out there. Warm day, AstroTurf playing surface. Remember, it's about 11:20 in the morning here. And by the third period, you're going to see a lot of substituting. Second down, 5 from the 39. Give it to Johnson again. Straight ahead he goes inside the 35, and he's very close to a first down. Pete Johnson, as you look at his numbers on the season, 4 men who have been named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. George Musso, Doug Atkins, Sam Huff, Merlin Olsen, all here today. Recently named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They'll be inducted in Canton on the 7th of August, and we'll be talking with the 4 throughout the day. Third down and inches, double tight end set up for the AFC with Kellen Winslow on one side and Ozzie Newsome on the other. It figures to be Johnson, and it is, and it's a first down for the AFC. So they picked up 3 in a row on this drive.
Nothing really fancy about Pete Johnson. He kind of reminds one of a fullback that played for the Cleveland Browns years ago, one Marion Motley, who went about the same size, didn't dance around much, just ran over everybody, and that's what Pete Johnson does.
Anderson, of course, used to calling his number. As you look at Earl Campbell, each team with 4 running backs. We've had Delaney and Johnson in there for the AFC. Campbell and Chuck Muncie of San Diego are the other backs. First and 10 from the 32-yard line. Anderson trying to scramble away, but down he goes as the whistle sounds. He lost the ball, but after the whistle at the 39-yard line.
That was Leroy Selman that got him out, and again, that's amazing that you get that kind of pass rush in this situation because you really basically got 6 guys blocking on 4. Leroy Selman beat his man and probably another and forced the sack.
Selman now comes out, and Fred Dean takes his place. Dean, the NFC Defensive Player of the Year, not a starter here, however. Not even a starter, of course, for his own team, the 49ers, used as a pass rush specialist.
But did he turn that defense around? When he came to the team, it just was something they missed and needed, and they went on from there.
On second down and 18. Anderson going for it all and looking for Collinsworth, but the pass is short and knocked down by Roynell Young, who looked like he had a sure interception.
He did have a sure interception. There again, Roynell Young hadn't played football in about 3 or 4 weeks. And the ball was underthrown. He's trying to get to his favorite receiver, Collinsworth. Roynell Young just dropped the ball. Here we go, one more time from the reverse angle. Let's see if he keeps his eye on the ball. Well, oh no, he just dropped it. He said, I'm sorry.
So the AFC is able to keep the drive alive, but upcoming third down and 18 from the 40-yard line. Collinsworth split left, and Frank Lewis of Buffalo to the right. And he'll dump it off for Johnson at the 40-yard line, and Pete gets down to the 34 for a pickup of 6 as Roynell Young came up to make the stop that time. So the line of scrimmage is the 34. If they go for the field goal, you're talking about 51 yards.
A healthy kick.
Nick Lowry is the place kicker. A look at the historic Ted Hendricks, one of 2 Raiders in the game, the other being Lester Hayes.
And talking about field goals, Al, he has blocked a few in his career, but of course his team is kicking it, so they don't have to worry about that now. But Matt Blair on the other side of the line has blocked a lot, but I see they got 2 tall Jones, all 6'9" of it in the block position. The guy that's going to leap up in the middle there and try to block it.
It'll be a 52-yard attempt from the 42-yard line, and it is wide to the left. Good distance, didn't have the accuracy, and so the AFC gives it up. NFC taking over with 6:20 remaining in the first period at Aloha Stadium. No score. Just a perfect day, the light breeze. Aloha Stadium, very close to Pearl Harbor, about a 10-15 minute drive from downtown Honolulu. Sold out. 3rd year in a row the game has been played here. They love it. First down from the 33-yard line is Joe Montana on the NFC second possession, throwing incomplete. He sent Dorsett out into the pattern. Merlin Olsen going into the Hall of Fame. He's here, and with him is Russ Francis.
Well, Merlin, you're no stranger to Hawaii and no stranger to the Pro Bowl. You played here in college, and you were the player of the game of the Hula Bowl 1962, Rookie of the Year 1962, and record 14 appearances in the Pro Bowl. This has got to be a crowning achievement, being in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you, Russ. Very exciting for me, and it's been exciting just to step down and see so many of my friends here in this game and on the sideline. But this announcement, finding out I'm going to be a part of the Hall of Fame is very exciting for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've watched you play for many years, and I've watched your broadcasting and really enjoyed it. And also, I'm a big fan of your new series, Father Murphy. Continue. Good luck to you.
Russ, thank you very much. And even though it's on NBC, I'm sure Room won't mind if we pop it for Tuesday night.
I'll be watching.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, Merlin Olsen, man who chased Mr. Tarkington around a time or 2.
What a class gentleman he is. Great football player. He richly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Makes me feel old. He came into the league a year after I did.
That's right. Went out in 76. 3rd down and 1 after Billy Sims had picked up 9 for the NFC. And William Andrews.
And he fumbled, but we'll have to see whether the whistle had blown or not.
AFC thinks they have it. No signal yet from the officials. Red Cashin is the referee, and it is indeed a fumble.
Our first turnover of this match.
So the AFC taking over in NFC territory at the 44-yard line. It was Gary Barbaro who came up with it.
And Dan Fouts now is coming to the game at quarterback, Al.
Fouts is the quarterback. That means Campbell and Muncie are the running backs.
And that's
Steve Watson of the Denver Broncos at the 30-yard line.
And he is an amazing man. Steve Watson, nobody knew anything about him as you watch him here. They said he wasn't really fast enough, wasn't really big enough. And all he did was just have a phenomenal year, made the Pro Bowl. Got off to a wonderful start in Denver this year and really helped them to a surprisingly good season in Danny Reed's first year as head coach.
Big play man, averaged more than 20 yards per reception, picks up about 9.5 here. 2nd down, inches. In the eye, you've got Campbell as the fullback and Muncie as the tailback. And off the play fake, it's Fouts going over the middle and incomplete at the 15-yard line, trying to find his teammate Kellen Winslow, who looked like he was about to make a sensational one-handed catch and couldn't hang on.
Here it is from the end zone. Can you imagine Earl Campbell at fullback? It's a different position for him, usually a tailback. They make the fake to Muncie. Watch Winslow here. Almost one hand, brings it in. He is rather amazing, as all these guys are, but Winslow makes plays that I sometimes cannot believe.
Oh, who can forget that game on the 2nd of January at the Orange Bowl?
He and Fouts were unbelievable that day.
3rd down and inches from the 34, and there's contact on the left side of the line before the snap. So the play has been whistled dead. Muncie was the man who had taken the pitch. but we'll wait for the call. Mark Gastineau of the New York Jets.
False start by the offense.
Penalty against the offense. Gastineau of the New York Sack Exchange down on the AFC sidelines with Lynn Swan. Swanee?
Mark, a great performance by you and the Jets this year. You started out 0-3. How did your team orchestrate their comeback into the playoff?
Well, I think that the players just decided that we were going to start winning some games, and a lot of coaches were blamed, but it's within the players. If they decide that they're going to go out and they're going to give out 110%, well, they're going to win. And I think that we just decided to do it this year. Well, in 1981, not this year. This is a new season. But I hope that we have the same type of attitudes in 1982 as we did in 81. A lot of good things will happen to the New York Jets.
Thank you, Mark. Back to the game.
All right, Swanee, and it's a first down as Ozzie Newsome takes the pass on a 3rd and 5 and gets down to the 20-yard line for a first down for the AFC. Newsome, the only member of the Cleveland Browns named to the Pro Bowl. It's interesting, of the 28 teams in the league, 26 have representatives. Only 2 teams without a representative, the Colts in the AFC and the St. Louis Cardinals in the NFC.
That is it.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And it's Earl Campbell.
I don't think Earl Campbell has ever run from the fullback position since he's been in professional football, and probably not in high school or college. But such is the nature of this game. Everybody's a great player, and Campbell was the one chosen to go to the fullback position and put the more angular one, Chuck Muncie, in the tailback slot.
Think about a linebacker on the defense. You look into that backfield, you've got Campbell as the fullback, Muncie is the tailback. Bounce on 2nd down, going for the end zone, and underthrown in the corner. Steve Largent of the Seattle Seahawks, the intended receiver. And Roynell Young, who nearly had the interception before covering.
You'll see that he does have his man beat. Ball is underthrown by Fauci. And no touchdown. Steve Largent is another receiver, very much like Steve Watson. Not great speed, great move people, tremendous hands, but they get open both short and long, even though they don't have the great speed.
3rd down and 7. Largent split left. Watson to the right. Bob starts to slip. Down he goes. The ball is still loose, and the NFC has it at the 26-yard line.
Fred Dean has the ball, Al, and again, a pretty good pass rush by the NFC. And if you all think this is just kind of an exhibition game, think again, because these players are really playing. You'll watch Fouts come back on a 3rd down situation. Watch Fred Dean from the left side of your screen just overpower his man, cause the fumble, and then recover the ball. That's why he was NFC Defensive Player of the Year.
Each team with a turnover. 3:32 to go. First quarter in Honolulu in the Pro Bowl with no score. ABC's World News Tonight. Pierre Salinger continues his investigation with an exclusive report on how the Italian police beat the Red Brigade terrorists and rescued General James Dozier. Salinger, of course, had the inside story on the hostage negotiations about a year ago, and he has some exclusive and fascinating information. That's tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight. New quarterback for the NFC. It's Steve Bartkowski of the Atlanta Falcons from the 26-yard line, and a new set of running backs, including his teammate William Andrews, who gets a yard out to the 27.
And here's a different type of quarterback. Bartkowski, unlike Montana, likes to go down the field. He throws longer pass routes, 20 to 30 to 40-yard routes. Montana, interestingly enough, in the Super Bowl game, did not throw a pass for a completion of over 20 yards. Very controlled type passer. Bartkowski of the Bomber.
2nd down and a short 8. And on the delay, it's Rodgers who takes it out to the 33-yard line. George Rogers, a sensational rookie season, led the NFL in rushing yardage this year, won the Heisman Trophy in 1980 at the University of South Carolina.
I would imagine George Rogers will have a very good game today. I'm sure he's excited about being in this game. He's read about all these players as a kid growing up, and now in his rookie season, he's here and playing with them.
3rd down and 3 for the NFC at the 33-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go in the period with no score. It's William Andrews getting it out to the 39-yard line. Andrews and Bartkowski, 2 of 7 Falcons on the 40-man NFC roster. Interestingly enough, all 7 offensive players.
I think that's why the Falcons are not in the playoffs. They had plenty of offense this year, but there again, 7 offensive Pro Bowl players, 0 defensive Pro Bowl players. It takes both to win, but you better have some defense.
They've got Andrews, Bartkowski, Jenkins, Ken, Miller, Thielman, and Van Note all here. First down from the 39-yard line. Give it to Andrews again, and he takes it out for a pickup of 3.
Well, essentially, the NFC have decided to go with just a 1 running back situation, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end. So they've got 4 receivers up on the line of scrimmage that can come at you, and that does put a little pressure on the defense. But in doing that, Al, they're running the ball, which is interesting.
Second down 7. They've got 2 tight ends in here.
Yeah.
88, Jimmy Giles on the left side out of Tampa Bay. Junior Miller of the Falcons, 81. On second down and 7, the short drop, and out to Jenkins. He's into AFC territory, and a first down. Gary Barbaro catching up with him.
Well, what they're doing with the 4 receivers out there, now 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, they're really forced them to go pretty much man on man. And that's very difficult to do.
Collinsworth of Cincinnati, Largent of Seattle. Taking a breather on the AFC bench. Temperature in the 80s today. Very hot down on the field. Half a minute to go in the period.
And back to 2 running backs.
With Andrews and Dorsett in the backfield, it's Bartkowski going long, looking for Jenkins, but overthrows him. Alfred Jenkins getting a step that time on both Gary Barbaro and Gary Green, the pair of defensive backs from Kansas City. But Steve throwing too long. You made a great point before, Fran. When you take a team like Atlanta, the Falcons have not played a game since the 20th of December. They missed the playoffs, so that's 6 weeks since these fellas have seen action.
And they really, back in Atlanta, we've had snow and sleet and rain, so these guys haven't been working out a lot back in Atlanta. But they don't have it here. Look here in Honolulu.
Yeah, we hate to rub it in, but
sorry, folks.
Second down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Bartkowski, and down he goes back at the 48-yard line as the defensive pressure applied by Art Still, number 67 of Kansas City, and Mark Gastineau.
Well, you're finding here that Bartkowski getting a little pressure from the defense, but when you're trying to throw the ball, as long as he's trying to throw the ball, the offensive linemen have to hold longer, and it's a more difficult job. Pass rush gets to you in that situation, as we look at old Mark Gastineau, who's probably the leading cheerleader in the National Football League.
The gun sounds. That's the end of the first quarter in the Pro Bowl from Honolulu. A scoreless 15 minutes. Back with the start of the second quarter after this. Pro Bowl in Honolulu. Al Michaels with Fran Tarkenton, Lynn Swan, Russ Francis. No score. The NFC with the ball at its own 47-yard line. Third down and 17. Steve Bartkowski. Joe Montana is back up in this one, leading this series. And Bartkowski looking for the first down. Contact made, but no flag at the 35-yard line. Alfred Jenkins, the intended receiver, on the underthrown pass, and Gary Green had him blanketed.
Gary Green had some kind of coverage there. The stats, the AFC got a little edge in first downs, a little edge in the yardage, a lot of edge in passing. That's the most significant thing there, 32 yards to 5. Watch the coverage by Gary Green. This is man-on-man coverage, something that's the most difficult. It's the most difficult thing to do in pro football. Gary Green had him just covered like a blanket, as Al said.
This is Sladany to kick. He averaged 43.5 yards per punt this season. And Roaches will let it bounce. And it just barely goes into the end zone. Joe Montana, Super Bowl MVP, down on the NFC bench with Russ Francis. Russell?
Well, first of all, Joe, congratulations from the nation. You guys were fantastic all year long. Where do you go from here?
Well, hopefully that we can get back started again in July, middle of July, and just now the job really becomes tough for us, and the fact that we've got something to live up to. And I think with everyone gets in the right mental frame, I think we can come back and give another good showing. We've got the people to do it.
Well, you married a girl from Hawaii over in on the Big Island, and you folks are off for a safari in Africa, are you?
That's where we're headed. We're not, about 4 days from now, we're heading over to Africa. We're going to come back to the Big Island later. We're just going to get away and take a few pictures, and both of us are animal lovers, so it'll be fun.
Well, enjoy yourself. You've earned it.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Al.
All right, Russ, and for the AFC, it was Joe Delaney picking up 5, getting it out to the 25, where it'll be second down and 5. Joe Montana, third year in the league, kind of lost in the shuffle with the 49ers. Of course, the fact San Francisco won 15 of its last 16 games this season. They started out 1-2, wound up 16-3, counting postseason. Joe Delaney takes it out to the 27-yard line, and as a reward, Bill Walsh is here. I know he's in Hawaii. I'm not quite sure if he's at the stadium today, but relaxing on the beach following the Super Bowl win.
I saw Bill this morning, and he looks very content. There's Joe Delaney, and what a rookie year he had. Amazing year, tremendous quickness, speed. He's probably, I guess he's the smallest running back we have in this game, isn't he, Al?
He is, and a key man, obviously, for the Kansas City Chiefs, who wound up sending 5 men to the Pro Bowl. On third down and short is a first down as Pete Johnson takes the pass and goes out of bounds near the 38-yard line.
Pretty cute little play there as we look at Mel Blount. Mel doesn't have a lot of hair there, but never did have, but he covers pretty well. He's been around forever and still plays well. Appears again elected to the Pro Bowl team. And Pittsburgh was coming on pretty good this year, I thought, Al, at the end. And then Bradshaw went down in the Oakland game on Monday night. And it was all over from there.
First down, AFC at the 37-yard line. Anderson over the middle. Winslow for a first down to the 50-yard line. Gain of 12. A reminder for those of you on the West Coast coming up after this one, the Superstars, the Veteran Show, featuring 4 of the originals from 1973. You'll see Joe Frazier, Jean-Claude Killy, Raj Gilbert, and the winner from the first year, Bob Seagren, in action, followed by the premiere of the USA versus the World in Olympic sports, boxing, the Soviet Union against the United States from Moscow. Next on the West Coast. First down from the 50-yard line. He's looking for Winslow and has him for another first at the 37.
And he just took the ball out of the hands of Harry Carson. Winslow is some kind of athlete. I think you'll see today that Anderson and Montana have great advantages over Fouts and Bartkowski because of the fact that they played a football game a week ago and they still got their arm and their timing, conditioning, and that's very important when you're trying to throw a football.
Don Shula, the AFC coach, saying yesterday he's going to shuffle his fellas in and out. He said, but I've got to keep Winslow in there as much as possible. Of course, it was Shula who was on the other end when Winslow had that sensational day in Miami. Johnson pulling forward, getting to the 30-yard line.
Of course, Pete Johnson in college was overshadowed by the great Archie Griffin, who won 2 Heisman trophies at Ohio State. Johnson was a blocker, but now Johnson is the one that's heralded, making the Pro Bowl and is running the ball for Cincinnati.
And then, of course, on the other side, you've got William Andrews, who was overshadowed to a large extent by Joe Cribbs, by James Brooks at Auburn.
He was the blocker at Auburn, didn't really run the ball. 3rd-round draft choice by the Falcons, and now he's here.
On second down and 3. It's Johnson again, breaking 1 tackle and may have enough for a first. Very close to it as he gets near the 27-yard line.
When you get a man as big as a Pete Johnson or an Earl Campbell, many people have said it, one guy tackling him is just not enough. It's just hard to put him down. It takes more than one. That time he broke the tackle, might have gotten the first down. Well, we expected a high-scoring game, Al, but so far... Goose eggs on the board.
Great contrast in the 2 games that have been played here. As you can see, Johnson barely does pick up the first down. We had the highest scoring Pro Bowl ever 2 years ago, 37-27. Then last year, the hero. The MVP in the game was Eddie Murray, the place kicker from the Lions, who kicked 4 field goals in a 21-7 victory for the NFC.
Well, they got a good chance here to get in for some points.
No score, 11:08 to play in the half. And from the 27-yard line, it's Joe Delaney trying to turn the corner and run out at the 20-yard line by the linebacker Harry Carson of the Giants.
You saw the quickness of Joe Delaney there. He doesn't have the size of a George Rogers or an Earl Campbell or Pete Johnson. But watch here. He dips in, a little bit of Dorsett. Out. Breaks the tackle. And uses that protective sidelines, which are oh so valuable for those of us who don't like to get hit.
Gets it close to the 19. It is 2nd down and 2. Johnson. He's becoming automatic. Jerry Robinson, the Eagle linebacker, making the stop on feet.
Well, you know, the thing that they're not able to work on here are the short yardage situations. During the regular season, you have short yardage and goal line defenses that you call, that you work on, that you try to execute. In this game, you just try to do the best you can on 3rd and short. You don't have any special defense for it.
The way things are going with Johnson, the NFC better put out a call for the hacksaw. Jack is not here. Delaney. A tough yard, maybe 2. Gary Fensick of the Bears making the stop. Number 45, there he is, one of 3 Ivy Leaguers in the game. You've got the heady kicking game of the AFC with McAnally of Harvard, Lowry of Dartmouth, and then Fensick for the NFC out of Yale.
Out of Yaley. He's a hard-nosed Yaley.
Doesn't play like a Yaley.
No, he's hard-nosed. He will come up and tackle you.
11th play on this drive upcoming on 2nd down and 9. Anderson rolling, looking for the sideline and getting out of bounds. Run out by Leroy Selman.
You know, we talked about the control passing game. Both Cincinnati and San Francisco play good defense, but their offenses control the football down the field. We talked about Atlanta not having a good defense. They don't have a controlled offensive game plan. They try to go for the big bomb a lot, so therefore they don't keep their defense off the field. Hard to play defense when you're on the field most of the day, and that was the case with Atlanta, not the case with Cincinnati and San Francisco.
3rd down 7. 9:43 remaining in the half. Still scoreless. On a draw, Delaney inside the 10, taking it to the 8-yard line.
Well, they're going to kick a field goal.
So it's Lowry of Kansas City coming in. Nick missing a 52-yard attempt earlier, which would have been a Pro Bowl record. Nick in his 2nd year out of Dartmouth. Hit on 26 of 36 this season. His longest, a 52-yarder against the Raiders. This one from the 15-yard line.
Now watch how smooth he is. He's got a great swing here. Sidewinder, but he's a very fluid kicker. Well, we're not going to see it.
The snap is fumbled by Largent, and he has no Herrera to throw to. So down he goes, back at the 20. If Efren was there, that may have worked out.
Oh, my goodness. Here comes the snap. Let's see if it's... Snap is really pretty good. Snap should have been handled. It was a little low, but it wasn't a terrible snap. Didn't hit the ground first. And Steve Largent is in a lot of trouble.
So still no score with 8 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the first half. McKay, head coach of the NFC. He took Tampa Bay to the NFC Central Division title. Coaches are named from the divisional winners that lose in the playoffs in that first round. Thusly, we have Shula and McKay on opposite sides today. And with the NFC on first down, giving it to Dorsett. He takes it out to the 20 for a gain of 5. Another man going into the Hall of Fame, the old-timer from back in the 30s, the great fair lineman, George Musso. And he's down with Lynch Ward.
George, great ball player for the Chicago Bears. Early on in your career, you were known as one of the big players in the game. Can you kind of compare the defensive linemen then and now?
Well, back in our days, Len, of course, you know, we had to play both ways, offense and defense. We were the kickoff team, the receiving team, and the defensive team. And of course, we had to kind of keep ourselves in condition, and really, because we knew we were going to have to go 60 minutes.
You had the distinction of playing against two presidents, former President Gerald Ford and President Ronald Reagan. How was that experience?
Well, way back in 1929, I was a freshman at Millikan University at Decatur, Illinois, and Millikan played Eureka at Eureka, Illinois, and they have a college there at Eureka College. And, of course, the president was a lineman. He weighed about 170 pounds, and I weighed around 260.
I'm sure when Ronald Reagan tells that story, he can look back with competitive pride that he played against a Hall of Famer. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Lynn. It's been nice talking with you.
Al?
All right, Lynn. George Busso going into the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, the NFC on 3rd down and 9. Dwight Clark, the intended receiver, but covered well on the play. Back there with him was Mel Blount.
You know, the defensive cornerbacks in this league today are amazing to me because the rules have now made it so difficult to play the game. But when you see an athlete like Mel Blount could run stride for stride with Dwight Clark, cover him all over the field, it's just amazing. They're tremendous athletes. Maybe the best athletes in football are the defensive cornerbacks.
The Oilers' Carl Roach is back to take the kick from Tom Skladany, getting set for his 3rd punt of the day. Good distance, a low kick, and Roach is from the 32, looking for some help and not finding much. Buried at the 35-yard line. Everson Walls, the Cowboy rookie, the first man to make contact. AFC taking over with 7:22 remaining in the half after a 50-yard kick. We're still scoreless. 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. The Pro Bowl from Honolulu. No score. The AFC attempting 2 field goals. Nick Lowry missing on one. Steve Largent mishandling the snap on the other. They take over from the 36-yard line as Fouts gives to Muncy. Chuck out past the 40 and dropped at the 44-yard line. Roynell Young coming up to make the tackle.
Sometimes Chuck Muncy just looks like he belongs in another league. To be that big and run that fast, it just shouldn't be allowed. But he can do it. He's an amazing back.
Muncy had a sensational day 2 years ago in this game. At that time, he was playing for the NFC as a member of the Saints.
Yep.
Won the MVP award.
Yes, he did.
2nd down, about 1.5 yards. As Fouts gives to Campbell, and Earl carries out to the 48-yard line and a 1st down.
I know Dan Fouts likes the passing game a lot, but when you have a Muncy and a Campbell, it just is a nice feeling to be able to give the ball to either one of them and let them go. 4 years, 4 Pro Bowls for Earl Campbell, not all bad.
From the 49, 1st and 10. That's your all-time offside.
You know, what tickles me about offsides, they teach the defensive linemen to watch the ball and don't go to the snap of the ball. But they all listen to the cadence of the quarterback, and he missed.
Tuchel running the great circle route.
There's Tony Dorsett, Tony D, who I think had his best year this year, Al. He really played well.
Number 72 on the defense, still 1st down.
And I'm not sure Dorsett is recognized around the world as great a back as he is. You hear more about each year a Campbell or somebody else. Dorsett for 5 years has been over 1,000 yards and is one of the 3 or 4 best running backs in all of football.
Marvelously consistent, avoiding injuries, durable. On 1st down and 5, Muncy for a yard. Leroy Selman of Tampa Bay making the stop.
I've covered 3 of these games in this booth, and I have played in a few of them myself. I've never seen a Pro Bowl game played with more intensity, more hard hitting, everybody hustling as I've seen today. Maybe that's the reason we have no score.
Well, there's a few bucks at stake, $5,000 to each member of the winning team and $2,500 for the losers. On 2nd down and 4, Fouts Scrambling. Largent was open, but he overshoots him. Steve had gotten free, but Faust was under pressure. George Rogers, the sensational rookie season, led the league in rushing. Let's go down to George with Russ Francis.
Okay, George, you led the league in rushing your first year, Heisman Trophy winner, Pro Bowl. Now, what's next for George Rogers?
Hopefully the Super Bowl. Hopefully Saints can come back next year and do like San Francisco and win Super Bowl. I think that's the next big step for us.
So the Super Bowl, I mean, you're here at the Pro Bowl. Are you enjoying yourself in Hawaii?
Oh, sure, man. It's fun. I've been here 2 years ago, and it's fun. It's nice to come back here in the hot sun and stuff like that. I like to be here.
Well, the people here of Hawaii like you too, George. I remember when you were here for the Hula Bowl, and we'd like to see you many more times in the Pro Bowl. Thanks.
All right, thank you, man. Good.
On 3rd down and 3, Fouts dumping it. No flag.
But he's within grasp. They're going to have
They're going to call him down at that spot.
Yep, and that's a proper call.
Leroy Selman at the 49-yard line. Had him wrapped up.
You know, so again, the pass rush has really been good today on both sides. Leroy Selman, the second time he's had a sack today. And he plays a 3-man line at Tampa. He gets double team and triple team, and I'm sure he likes having 3 other guys to help him out rushing the passer.
It's back to the original line of scrimmage, 4th down and 10. Nelms of Washington back deep as Pat McAnally gets hit for his first punt. The Bengal kicker really booming it. Nelms will let it go, and into the end zone it goes. It'll come out to the 20. 50-yard punt. We have 4 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the first half in Honolulu. NFC nothing, and the AFC nothing. Cincinnati Bengals, the great offensive tackle, second year in the league, first Pro Bowl appearance out of Southern California. Looking on as the NFC takes over with 4:43 to go in the half. At the 20-yard line, no score, and Joe Montana back in at quarterback. Off the play fake, wide open is Clark. Deja vu out to the 42-yard line. Mel Blunt there to make the stop. Montana to Clark.
You know, quarterbacks do like to work with certain receivers. I had one named Rashad I like to work with a lot. Obviously, Montana and Dwight Clark have something together. I watched Clark that time run his pattern. He doesn't run orthodox patterns. He kind of ran down the field, hit into Blunt, spun off of him, and got open, got wide open, and made the catch.
What a year for Clark. Wins the Super Bowl, named to the Pro Bowl for the first time, and his alma mater wins the national championship.
And his girlfriend is a former
The hat trick plus.
Yeah.
First down from the 42-yard line is Dorsett. Picks up close to 5. Ken Anderson of the Bengals, AFC quarterback. He's with Lynn Swan.
Congratulations on all your honors and being in the Super Bowl, but the Cincinnati team has played together for some time. What turned that team around to be a championship team?
Well, I think, Forrest Gregg came in and did a great job, and I think one of the big reasons was our offensive line. They came around and gave me a lot of time to throw the ball, and we started scoring some points for a change.
You think getting Paul Brown off the field with only one responsibility as general manager and Forrest Gregg running the team helped?
Well, Paul hasn't been involved since he got out of coaching, so, but Forrest has got total control of the show, and that really makes a big difference.
Now that you're down here in the sun, what do you think about the controversies of playing playoff games on cold weather fields like Cincinnati's and San Diego?
I wish we could have played the Super Bowl when it was minus 59.
I know what you mean. Congratulations, Kenny.
Thank you, man.
Al?
All right, Swanee, well put.
I like that.
59 below, they're fine. 72 in the Silverdome, not so good. 83 in Hawaii. He's dead even right now. No score.
Montana's got him on the move, though.
From the 50. 3rd and a couple. Montana swinging it out to Andrews. He's looking for the first down and fights forward to the 46 to get it. William Andrews, not only a great man to have carry the ball for you, but a man who was second in the NFC in pass receptions this season, second only to Dwight Clark. Andrews caught 81.
He's a great back. He's a great receiver. He's got good hands. He can block. He can do everything a great back is supposed to do. And he gives you the same type of performance week in and week out. He's as consistent as any player that's playing football today.
Clock runs down to the 2-minute warning. When play resumes, the NFC has it at the AFC's 46-yard line. 2 minutes to go in the half. No score in Hawaii. Al Michaels with Fran Tarkenton. We're back in International Falls, Minnesota with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Aloha Stadium sold out.
Montana's hot, Hawaii is hotter. I'm not sure about that, but both of them are pretty hot.
First down for the NFC at the 46-yard line. Montana sending everybody out into the pattern and seeking Lofton, but incomplete. He did not make the catch.
Threw the ball a little bit off balance. You know, the reason Joe Montana wasn't drafted in the first round probably because he doesn't have what they call a strong arm. You know, most of the scouts want to, as you look here at the ball being underthrown, you've got to have a great big bazooka arm to be drafted in the first round. And, of course, Kenny Anderson was drafted about the 16th to 17th round, but Montana's got all the other things that make a quarterback great, which he has become in his third year, a great quarterback.
Worked perfectly, of course, under the system for Bill Walsh this year. Played college ball at Notre Dame under Dan Devine. Second down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Montana scrambling. This time he has Lofton, but no, Lofton is out of bounds as he makes the catch. So one is underthrown, and this one Lofton able to make the play on, but stepping on the chalk.
You watch it again. He's throwing on the run, which he can do. I think James Lofton probably thought he had more room than he really did. He'll get down inside that line more times than not in that situation. Good play by Montana. Showed his quick feet again. His sense of field where he is on the field. Got away from the rush. Picked out the receiver.
Third down and 10. A minute 44 remaining in the half. No score. Montana going deep, but some mix-up on the pattern. Incomplete.
Jimmy Giles was the tight end. Montana thought Jimmy Giles was going to run a deep pattern outside. Giles hooked up, and that's the reason you had the incompletion on third down.
Ronnie Lott out of Southern California.
He might think he's in International Falls.
Back to kick. Tom Skladany, that's Carl Roaches, standing at the 10. Skladany angles it, tries to find the corner.
Got it.
And it's a good kick.
Al, ask me again if I think it's going to be, what kind of game I think
Yeah, that's right. At the beginning, it was Fran Tarkenton who said, explosive fireworks today. Plenty of scoring. A minute 30 to go in the half. Nothing.
Second half.
With a minute 26 to play in the half, NFC just having taken a timeout defensively, hoping to hold the AFC and get the ball back. On second down, 11. Dan Fouts of San Diego sends Largent wide to the left. Fouts has it picked off at the 15-yard line by Everson Walls, and the Dallas rookie takes it to the 4.
Did we say Joe Montana had a good instinct and feel for the game? But Everson Walls also has that. Drafted low, nobody thought he could make it to the National Football League, but he led the league in interceptions, 11 interceptions during the season. Watch here, out of nowhere comes Everson Walls. There he goes. Wasn't his man that he was throwing to. He came off of his man and came back in and made the play. They said earlier in the year they were picking on him. They picked on him too many times. He got the interceptions, and here he is in the Pro Bowl.
The rookie out of Grambling puts the NFC at the 4-yard line with a minute 16 remaining in the half. Montana, the quarterback. With Andrews and Dorsett, the running backs, going to the air, and it's a touchdown. Jimmy Giles of Tampa Bay.
That'll give play, just a little play pass action down there. They got to expect run from the 5. He faked into the line, rolled out. He's got such ability to roll out and get outside. It really helps him. Here's nice on Jimmy Giles. Here he goes. Gets off of Blunt. Blunt falls down. He trips another man. Jimmy Giles goes high, gets it. You know, when you're not a real tall quarterback, Montana's not real tall compared to Fouts and some of the others. It helps to be able to have the feet to get outside and away from the rush to give you a better vision of the field, and Bill Walsh lets him do that.
Raphael set the end of the Cowboys out of the hold from Nolan Cromwell, and it's blocked.
If you think about intensity, when do you see blocked field goals in a Pro Bowl game? That tells you something right there.
And a blocked extra point there for Gary Green of Kansas City, who came through to knock it down.
Well, I've told you to be high scoring. I just didn't tell you what quarter is going to start happening, but now they've turned it loose. Reverse angle here. We'll see. Let's watch the snap and the hold and see if he gets the ball down. Snap is a little low, but still good. Ball is down. Whale of an effort. There was a hole on the right side there. He came through, made the block.
The interesting thing, of course, in a game like this, not that many of the players on either side are used to playing on the special unit.
They really aren't, especially on the kickoff receiving team and the kickoff covering team. Very difficult for these players to get adjusted to this. Nobody likes to be on these teams, but in this game, they're all all-stars, and somebody has to do it. You would expect, really, Al, to see big plays on special teams here. A long kickoff return, long punt return. I'd be very surprised if we don't see one during the course of the day.
Set the end, kicking off to Roaches, who may not have a chance to run it back, but he decides he will from 4 yards in to the 10, 15, and runs it back to the 20-yard line with 1:04 remaining in the first half. The reminder coming up next Saturday. Start your day with a Pro Bowlers Tour, getting underway at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Then ABC's Wide World of Sports, special expanded edition, 4:30 Eastern. You'll see the Men's World Downhill Skiing Championship from Schladming, Austria. Phil Mayer and Ingemar Stenmark in that one. And the United States National Men's and Pairs Figure Skating Championship from Indianapolis. All next Saturday on most of these ABC stations. Good defensive tackle right there. First down from the 20-yard line. As Fouts throws out to the 45 to Steve Watson, right on the money.
That is
first down.
That is pretty, Al. I mean, that was really some kind of throw by Dan Fouts. Let's watch Watson. Came out of nowhere this year. Really had some kind of year as an outside receiver. Just makes it a simple in move. Fouts delivers the ball on time, catches the ball easy in stride. Some receivers fight the ball, have a hard time really making the move and then going for the ball. Steve Watson's got a natural way about him to not break stride when he's reaching for a football. He can go get a ball that many receivers cannot get.
Watson averaging nearly 21 yards per reception this season. Picks up 26 here. AFC taking a timeout. They have 2 remaining in the half with 55 seconds to go. NFC on top 6-0. The NFC has been on a roll in this game. They've won 4 straight. They have won 6 of the last 7. And for the first time since the merger, the NFC is seeking what would be a triple crown. This year they won the interconference battle over the AFC. They win the Super Bowl with the 49ers, and they can complete it with a Pro Bowl victory.
It has really been lopsided all during the 70s. Super Bowl losses to the NFC. The only thing that hadn't been lopsided is with the Pro Bowl, as you mentioned. But they're balancing it back out now. These things run in cycles, and the NFC now is more competitive with the AFC.
Parity again. It's been the key word all year.
Yeah. I like to think of it as competitive rather than parity, and it's gotten very competitive.
Muncie to midfield and out of bounds at the 50, stopping the clock with exactly 50 seconds. There's Rich Saul of the Los Angeles Rams, and his career closes here today. No stranger to the Pro Bowl. He's been in 12 seasons out of Michigan State. At the age of 33, wrapping it up here.
Been a salty old veteran down there in the pits, as they say, and been a great player. I know Jeff Seaman, who played for the Vikings, thought Saul was as good a center as he played against.
Second down and 6. Muncie run out of bounds at the 46-yard line, shy of the first by a couple. Matt Blair there to make the stop, and that ate up 6 seconds. We have 44 remaining in the first half.
Hey, pretty ladies here in the line. I know you wouldn't notice anything like that, but
the 50th state.
Some would.
Nothing like it. Weather has been great past few days. Had some rain here for a couple of weeks, but it's cleared up. Perfect day.
It really is.
Third down, yard and a half from the 46. Campbell, and they stop him.
I don't think he did. Randy White, 54, got in there. Tremendous charge by Matt Blair, 59. And how do you stop Earl Campbell short on third one? I don't know. But if you have a Randy White and a Matt Blair, it's possible.
Now you've got a 4th and 1 as they let the clock run down. Under 20 to play in the half.
Go for it.
Pitching it to Muncie. He gets to the 39. And they'll stop the clock now with time for one play.
Well, it's one of those alley-oops. It's one of those wide Tittle, RCO, and alley-oops.
So we've got a timeout here with 5 seconds remaining in the first half. 6-0 NFC. And let's check in New York with Jim Lampley.
Very quickly, 2 significant college basketball scores from this afternoon. In the Capitol Center, resurgent Georgetown demolished St. John's 63-46. St. John's went more than 11 minutes of the second half without a field goal. Wake Forest traveled to Arkansas and beat Arkansas 49-48. All 4 of those teams are conceivable contenders in the national tournament at the end of the year. Now back to Al Michaels.
All right, Jim, and with 5 seconds to go, Don Shula, Fran, the coach of the AFC, remember he was burned on the hook and trailer play, or used it effectively against San Diego.
He will use a gadget play of some type right here. He's famous for it, so he may throw a receiver down the field, have the receiver lateral to somebody else. But they're going up
all the way. Bounce into the end zone, and it's knocked away. 3 receivers were in the area. Could have been throwing for any of them, along with 4 defensive backs. So a crowd of 7 and an incompletion to end the half. There they are, the trips.
There they are. Down the field they go. Ozzie Newsome, Winslow, Largent, and it's a pretty good goal. They just throw it up and hope that the ball will bounce around and one of their guys will get it. You know, you watch Ozzie Newsome almost had the ball before it hit the ground.
So that's the end of the first half at the Pro Bowl in Honolulu. The NFC on top 6-0. And we'll be back after this message and a word from our local stations. From Honolulu, Joe Montana finding Jimmy Giles late in the first half after an interception by Everson Walls. That's the only scoring. 6-0 NFC. Right now, coming up, our ABC News halftime report with Tom Jarrell. Through the first 30 minutes, NFC on top 6-0.
And the AFC has just doubled everything the NFC has, except the numbers on the scoreboard. Yards passing, 36 yards only for the NFC in one half. Usually they would do that in one pass. 187 total yards to 84. Turnovers, AFC has one more turnover. Maybe that is the difference, because they had an interception by Everson Walls that got the ball on the 5-yard line, and from there Montana hit Jimmy Giles for the touchdown.
Only scoring of the first half, so the second half about to get underway on a gorgeous day in Honolulu.
You know, the people over here, Al, really love their sports. They pack out this stadium every year for this game. They talk about it the entire week. They were showing up here at the parking lot at 7 o'clock this morning, jam-packed, having their tailgate parties. It's a big event for them. They really do like it, and I hope our people watching it back on the mainland like it as well.
There is tremendous interest here, and always has been in pro football.
Is that Tom Landry?
Yes, it is. On vacation in Hawaii. Yeah. He's coached in a few of these. It wasn't that many years ago, in the late 60s, before the new technology and the satellites came into frequent use. The pro games here used to be shown on a week-delay basis, and they used to get great ratings. They love their football here. Roaches back deep. It'll be Rafael Septien to kick things off in the second half. The Dallas plays kicker to put it in the air for the NFC.
All right, here it is. Joe Montana, the only touchdown of the game, came from the 5-yard line after the turnover. He faked the ball inside. There's Jimmy Giles pushing off of Mel Blunt. Blunt falls down. Watch Giles go up. He did it again. 6 points. The extra point was blocked, and that is our scoring. And as I predicted, a high-scoring game as we started this show.
AFC had a couple of shots. Lowry missing on a 52-yard field goal attempt, and then he had a chip shot, but Largent couldn't handle the snap. And so they have been turned aside. Getting ready for the start of the second half, and again the breeze has blown the ball off the tee for Septien as they do some house cleaning work.
Well, they had some wheels out there carrying those big floats for the halftime show, and something must have ripped up there on the turf.
So there is George Toma, who, of course, is the man in Kansas City who takes care of both Royal Stadium for baseball and Arrowhead for football. He an NFL consultant and brought over here to get the playing surface ready. He is a miracle worker. Any man who could turn Candlestick Park into a playable surface is a miracle
Is he the guy that did that?
He is the man that did it. Meanwhile, have a moment. Chris Collinsworth, the sensational rookie wide receiver of Cincinnati. Let's meet him.
Chris, congratulations on your great year. Tell me, it's difficult throwing the ball in this league, but you come in as a rookie, you have a great year. How'd you do it?
Well, I'm just out here trying to have a good time, you know. They're paying me good money to come out and enjoy playing something that I love to do, and I'm just having a little trouble out here in a place where the wind chill is about 85 degrees out here, and, you know, so if I don't sweat to death, maybe we can come back here in the second half.
Did you and Kenny Anderson develop a special kind of chemistry for this season?
Well, you know about that. I'm sure that anytime a quarterback and receiver gets together and has some good things going for them, it takes a lot of time, not always during practice, but a lot of times after practice and in special film sessions, and especially when you got one of them old dumb rookies you have to work with all the time. So Kenny spent a lot of time with me, and it's been great for me.
Who do you pattern your playing style after?
This guy named Lynn Swan from Pittsburgh. He's the best I ever saw.
Thank you much, Chris. You take care. Congratulations to you. Al?
Nice setup, Swanee.
Yeah, Swanee. That was a real setup. You told me he said that yesterday.
Yeah, they were rehearsing it last night. Here we go. Second half is underway. As Septien kicks to Roaches, takes it from the 6 out to the 10, the 15, the 20, and works his way out to the 25-yard line, met there by Mac Blair of the Minnesota Vikings.
It is ironic in a year when you have so much offense. I've never seen so much offense. High-scoring games. We come to the Pro Bowl with the elite of the world. And the NFC has 36 yards passing in one half in perfect weather.
And 6 points on the board set up by the defense by the interception by Walls. Ken Anderson of the Bengals starts the second half at quarterback. First down from the 25-yard line. It's Delaney, the Chiefs rookie from northwestern Louisiana, tackled by Fensick as Gary came in from the secondary to drop him for a loss of 3. Randy White putting the pressure on that time, and Fensick finishing him off.
There he is. Good-looking young chap, isn't he?
Second Pro Bowl for Gary, only representative of the Chicago Bears here. Each team with a 40-man roster. Second down and 13 from the 22-yard line. Anderson throwing over the middle and incomplete. Intended for Delaney, and we've got a penalty marker there back at the 12-yard line.
And Leroy Selman just went right by Leon Gray, and that's who the holding coach is going to be on. As you see, old Joe Klecko. He's kind of a star, been in a movie or two. Truck driver, as I remember. Rushes the passer fairly well.
He and Gastineau.
Holding number 74 on the offense. Penalty is declined. It's third down.
Call going against Leon Gray. And it's third down and 13.
And he better get set up again because Leroy Selman's going to be coming once again at Leon Gray. No doubt about it's got to be a pass.
Collinsworth to the left and Frank Lewis split to the right. To Winslow. And he has a first down out at the 36-yard line. Roynell Young of the Philadelphia Eagles making the tackle.
They may be substituting a lot of players out, but Kellen Winslow's in there most every offensive play I've seen. Here's Anderson back in the pocket. Watch in the middle there. You see Leroy Selman get hammered. Here's Winslow getting open away from Mac Blair. Makes the catch.
At the 37-yard line, a look at Tony Dorsett on the NFC bench. 1st and 10 for the AFC. Anderson throwing it right into the arms of Frank LeMaster. And the Eagle linebacker takes it down to the 34-yard line.
Well, it was a timing pass. He was trying to throw it down and in to his outside receiver, and he just didn't see LeMaster come underneath it. Here he goes. From the ground here. Anderson's back in the pocket. It's a timing pass. Going into Collinsworth. LeMaster comes underneath him, which he didn't see. Interception. Another turnover for the NFC and another good field position.
So the National Conference in business at the AFC 34-yard line with 13:20 to go in the third period, and the NFC leading 6-0. Master making the interception, giving the NFC the ball. 8-year veteran out of Kentucky, playing in his first Pro Bowl. NFC at the 34-yard line. Montana, the quarterback, lofting it for Ahmad Rashad, but he's out of bounds. Ran out at about the 15-yard line. Lester Hayes with him step for step.
That's a pretty good matchup. You'll see Ahmad going against, he does this as well as anybody, against Lester Hayes, who does what he's doing as well as anybody. And Lester does not give an inch, forces Ahmad out of bounds. Montana tries to lead him out, not enough room.
John McKay with his team on top.
Kind of relaxed guy, old John McKay. He said, we're boys will come over here, we're going to have fun this week, and we might even win a game as while we're having fun. And they're doing it right now.
2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Sims inside the 30, and Billy takes it to the 24-yard line, where Jack Lambert, who's been in the league for 8 years and is playing in his 7th Pro Bowl, makes the stop. Jack Lambert of the Steelers. Missing the Pro Bowl game just one time.
He's not a very intense player, is he? He's always talking, he's yelling, he's screaming. He is some kind of intense player. That's a meek, mild pitcher, Jack Lambert. You'll never see him like that. There he is, behind that bar.
First down from the 24. It's Sims on a play that doesn't fool anybody. Pushed back outside the 25-yard line. Robert Brazil of the Oilers. Brazil's got a pretty good thing going. He's like Lambert. He's been in the league for 7 years and has been in the Pro Bowl now half a dozen times.
Well, it says something about the caliber of play that they've been accustomed to, and their peers recognize how good they are and put them in here every year. No politics played there.
On 2nd and 11. Montana incomplete. Rashad was on the near side and had pulled up near the sideline to avoid going out. The pass going awry. Hayes again covering Ahmad.
Very good throw on Montana's part because if he doesn't throw it out of bounds, Lester Hayes, interception, runs it back.
3rd down and 11 upcoming. I mentioned before, the players are selected by their peers, by the coaches. How did you feel if you had a good year and you weren't selected, Fran?
Very disappointed. One year, I had a year that I thought was an excellent year. We went to the Super Bowl, and I did not go to the Pro Bowl. Did not get picked.
to the 10, to the 15, and out to the 20-yard line goes Gary Barbaro of Kansas City.
And William Andrews is on the turf. Here he is, Montana from the ground here, going back, looking at the defense. He just overthrows a lot of receivers. Barbaro playing kind of a center field, feels the ball, easy interception. Not a good throw by Joe. There's William Andrews trying to make the tackle, and he was slow getting up from that effort.
So the AFC stymies that effort by the NFC with 11:34 remaining in the third quarter. Still 6-0 National. Ken Anderson, the quarterback, on first down from the 20-yard line. They go to the reverse, and it's Frank Lewis of Buffalo who gets dropped back at the 15-yard line by Fred Dean of the 49ers.
And I watched Fred Dean the entire way there. He had no pursuit to go to the reverse side of the field or the sweep side of the field. Stayed right at home, just waiting on it, right in the catbird seat. Watch it there. Hands off. They're taking a sweep to your left as you look at it. Then they come back, reverse around, and watch Fred Dean play off the blocker. Easily make the play. A lot of defense, not much offense here.
Fred Dean out of Louisiana Tech, going from San Diego to San Francisco as the pass rush specialist. On second down and 14, the draw. Delaney out to the 19-yard line. Setting up third and long with 10:40 remaining in the third period.
The defense has just dominated, obviously, the entire game. It's interesting to note, though, that during a year when they are not able to stop anybody's offense, here they're just shutting them down completely.
On third and 11. Anderson to put it up, throwing out to the 30-yard line and incomplete. Winslow was there and couldn't hang on.
And Gary Fensick really caused that incompletion because as Winslow went to make the catch, Fensick hit him. Knocked the ball away from him.
Would have been very close to a first down as they needed to move the ball out to the 30-yard line. Instead, Pat McInally into punt.
They were giving McInally and Skladany a lot of TV time today for all their friends back home to watch them out here in sunny Hawaii.
McInally, one punt today. It was a beauty. That's Nelms of Washington back deep. Standing at his own 40-yard line. McInally, who averaged better than 45 yards a kick. A wobbly line drive this time. Nelms from the 47 into AFC territory, looking for room to the outside and takes it to the 44 after a 35-yard punt by McInally. Lawrence Taylor, a sensational rookie year out of North Carolina for the New York Giants. He's with Russ Francis. Russ?
Well, thanks, Al. Lawrence, you had a great year. You're here in Hawaii. Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. There's a lot of excitement here and a lot of nice people to meet. And it's just a pretty country. I like being over here.
Well, thank you very much. People in Hawaii have watched you all year long. You've been exciting. And you say that you're finishing up for your schooling. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm down at Chapel Hill, finish up my degree. I like to say hello to Dr. Sessom, Mr. Gittleson, and Lee Meyer. I like to say hello to y'all. And well, I'm having a nice time. And Carolina's is a real nice school, the place I like to be, and that's where everything's happening. Also, I'd like to say hello to my mom and my father and all New York Giants fans.
Well, you got off to a great start. Continued congratulations from everybody, and have a great season next year.
Hey, thank you.
Al and Francis, up to you.
All right, Russ. Meanwhile, the NFC almost striking again as Bartkowski went deep for Jenkins. Covered on the play by Mel Blount, who makes his way back. And it'll be second down.
All right, there goes Alfred Jenkins again, trying to get the big ball of Mel Blount, but many have tried against Mel Blount, and few have succeeded. He goes up, times his jump just right, knocks it down.
On second down, Lawson, the intended receiver, some mistiming there. Hayes covering on the play, and the pass going behind him.
And they got Lester Hayes, I believe. Did they get him for pass interference? No, they're just marking him going out of bounds. Lester had a hand on Lofton, but the referees didn't think it was interference, and so be it.
So a couple of incompletions. Third down and 10.
There's just just not many receivers wide open today. These defensive backs are all over the offensive receivers. Have won the matchup today. Obvious pass situation.
3rd and 10 with Jenkins split left and Lofton split right. Sole running back is Rogers. Steve Bartkowski throwing low. At the 35-yard line, Gary Green covering on the play.
And he threw low, and it's a good thing he did again, because if he throws where he should have thrown it, Gary Green would have intercepted it, and he had a clear field to run for a possible touchdown.
So it's been a game of turnovers and punts. And we'll see Skladany kicking it away again with 9:36 remaining in the third quarter. NFC on top 6-0. Carl Roach is averaging better than 7.5 yards per run back this season. As Skladany angles it. He dropped one out on the 8 before, but this time he misses the corner. Barely going into the end zone before going out. And they'll take it out at the 20-yard line. And a penalty marker down at the AFC 43-yard line. Red Cashin, the referee.
Ineligible downfield, number 45 of the kickers.
They will decline that, I would think.
Red Cashin, John Keck, Sid Seaman,
Number
Nick
45
McKenzie.
of the kickers was ineligibly down the field. Penalty is refused. It's a touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 20.
Roy Clymer, Jones, Pat Millett, the officiating crew.
How about
that kind of day, 85 degrees.
Well, here we crank it up again. Dan Fouts now is going to try his hand at it, see if he can get the offense going.
1st and 10 from the 20. Campbell. Earl getting 4 yards out to the 24-yard line. Leroy Stillman in on the tackle.
I guess what we're learning today, Al, if you can have a Pro Bowl defensive backfield, you can stop the passing games of the National Football League team.
It's interesting, the contrast of the way it's gone the past few years. Occasionally a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
Last year, very low-scoring. This year, low-scoring.
Like most of pro football, there ain't a lot of rhyme or reason.
On 2nd and 6, Faust for his teammate Winslow.
And he picked it off the ground. What a catch by Winslow.
Beautiful. The two Chargers working their way out for a 1st down.
You know, the tight end position has changed a lot, too. Now you've got tight ends like a Winslow that can run. I mean, really have tremendous speed. Blocking is not near as important at the tight end position today as it was 4 or 5 years ago. Number one thing you look for in a tight end now is a receiver. Number two thing is a blocker. It used to be the reverse of that. Winslow's first break of the day.
On 1st down, it's Campbell breaking out to the 39-yard line and taking Taylor with him for a gain of close to 8. Campbell finishing 2nd in the league overall this year to only Rogers.
Hello.
That man likes offense.
Yeah. He knows everything happens in the fourth quarter. He's going to wait a while.
On 2nd and 2, no flags and incomplete. Roynell Young back covering.
You know, the defensive backs have gone up this year. It's something a little different years before. Back to a bump and run. Now, bump and run was used back in the early days of the AFL. And it was a very effective thing, but they could have, didn't have the pass coverages they have now. But it was, they're doing it effectively today.
Offsides by the defense in the middle of the line. 1st down.
There was some jumping. Initially, there was no flag, and we got a late penalty. And a 1st down out to the 44-yard line.
Big drive. Rub that lotion on.
Earl Campbell to the 47-yard line. Fred Bean among those surrounding him. 6-0, the NFC on top. Again, pointed out earlier, $5,000 to each winning player, $2,500 to the loser. I guess in a close game in the fourth quarter, you start to think to yourself, hey.
Well, it might pay for a few extra dinners over here or something.
About 4. On 2nd down and 6.
He's got him open.
Largent down the far sideline and out of bounds at the 18-yard line. So Steve Largent of the Seattle Seahawks works himself free.
He does indeed, and Dan Fouts delivered a strike. Watch Largent just go out to the sideline. Hit a zone on that side of the field. He gets in between the safety man Finsick and the cornerback Roynell Young. Makes the catch, goes down the sideline, 19-yard line. Good play. We haven't had many of them.
So the AFC tries to cash in after a 35-yard pickup. Good drives, few and far between for the AFC thus far today. 2 missed field goal opportunities, and that's it. And one of them a long effort from 52 yards. So they've rarely been close. At the 18-yard line, it's Earl Campbell with a big hole inside the 10 and down to the 2 for a 1st and goal.
Oh, what a truck. And Gary Finsick made a pretty good play there to save a touchdown. I'd like to be down there about 195 pounds looking at Earl Campbell coming right at you. And here you'll see what it's like for Mr. Finsick, 45. He'll get in there and make the tackle from the side. And if he'd have been head on, I doubt if he'd have been able to make the tackle. It was the only angle he had.
This drive beginning back at the 20-yard line after Sladany's punt had gone into the end zone, and the AFC now with a 1st and goal at the 2. With Winslow in motion, they pitch it to Muncy, and Chuck has it to tie it up. Earl Campbell out in front of Muncy and helping to clear a path for him.
And who said Earl Campbell couldn't block? I did. Now let's watch to see if Earl does block. He doesn't have to do this very often. He's the one carrying the mail. But Earl Campbell, 34, is out in front, blocking on Roynell Young. He does enough. He gets him out of the way. Muncy scores. Pretty good job.
With a field job. Chuck Muncy, the MVP in this game 2 years ago. Now Nick Lowry to try to give the AFC the lead, but no.
I'll tell you, we've had 1 short field goal try, 2 extra points, and we've had mishandled snaps. We've had extra points blocked, field goals missed.
And with 6:31 to go in the 3rd, we're tied at 6.
I've had to write some tough things about some tough guys. But there's one guy I can't write anything bad about. His unique brand of baseball has made him a living legend. So have his commercials. They got me to try his favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Light's less filling and it really tastes great. So I bought this light for that renowned yet humble man, Marv Thrunder.
Cheer up, Billy. One day you'll be famous just like me.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Let's watch the muff again on an extra point. We'll watch the snap. Snap is a little bit to the right, but the holder still should have fielded the ball. The kicker then almost misses it. And he does miss it to the left, but he almost missed the ball entirely.
Mike Webster snapping and Steve Largent holding, so we're tied 6-6. Interestingly enough, last year, the kicking game a whole lot different. Ed Murray of Detroit was the MVP in the game with 4 field goals. And an extra point.
You know, Largent, who's got wonderful hands, great receiver, has really dropped 2 snaps from center. And Lowry really hasn't had much of a chance.
Lowry to kick. Milnes from the 11-yard line. Out to the 20. And brought down at the 25-yard line. Ed Newman of the Dolphins, number 64, making the stop. 6 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the period. The number is on the AFC scoring drive.
Yes, sir. 7 plays, 80 yards. That's a big drive today. And Dan Fouts got the drive going. Earl Campbell, Chuck Muncy, both very effective running the ball. The big pass to Steve Largent that set up the touchdown run by Muncy.
NFC at the 26-yard line. Steve Bartkowski of the Falcons is the quarterback. He gives it to Sims, who takes it out to the 26-yard line. Well, another man going into the Hall of Fame, Doug Atkins, the former Bear defensive end. Let's check in with Lynn Swann.
Doug, you played 17 years, 12 with Chicago. Great years. How'd you last for 17 years in this league?
Well, back when I was playing, we didn't make quite the money they do now, and we didn't have anything else to do, so you just had to continue playing as long as you could. Got in the habit of eating, and you couldn't get out of it.
Do you think the ball players can play 17 years now?
Oh, I think the ball players are much larger and they're stronger, and the playing conditions better. I'm sure they can if they want to.
Can you tell me briefly, how does it feel to be selected to the Hall of Fame?
Meanwhile, Swanee will get back in a moment as the AFC with the interception at midfield, and the play whistle dead at the 46-yard line. Ted Hendricks getting back there as we have another look.
Here's Bartkowski going back. It's been an interesting interception, and then there will be a lateral. Here's Bartkowski throwing down the field. Hendricks reaches up, all 6'7" of him. Then he tries to lateral, but his knees were already on the ground. Good call by the officials.
The play whistle dead at that spot as Ted Hendricks in his 6th Pro Bowl picks one off at the 47-yard line. So the AFC tied with the NFC as Ken Anderson is at the helm from the 47-yard line. To Delaney of Kansas City. And out of bounds at the 49. All right, let's check in with Doug Atkins again and Lynn Swann.
Briefly, Doug, can you tell us what it means to you to have been selected to the Hall of Fame?
Well, it's a great honor, and it makes everything worthwhile. You know, after you play 17 years, it really helps receive an award like it. It makes it all worthwhile.
A mountain of a man from Humboldt, Tennessee. Thank you much, Doug. Al?
All right, Lynn, you talk about a moose.
I've played against Doug Atkins, and he's the biggest man I've ever played against, and many times I've seen him hurdle a blocker, because he's a high jump champion down at the University of Tennessee in his college days. He's some player.
On 2nd down and 8 from the 50-yard line, Anderson getting blindsided and sacked at the 40-yard line as Leroy Selman came charging through.
His 3rd sack, he is just absolutely running circles around Leon Gray, who's trying futilely to block him, but he runs circles around a lot of people. Pretty good player, Leroy Selman. About as good as there is at that position.
Pretty much the way Mr. Atkins used to do it. You really realize how big Doug Atkins is when you look down at the field when they introduced the 4 Hall of Fame members to the crowd here, and Atkins made Merlin Olsen look like a dwarf.
Yeah, Merlin Olsen, 6'5", 250. I'd say the AFC is a little bit dominant in the statistics in this game, but only a 1-point lead.
On 3rd and long, game is tied right now.
Only a tie game. That's right. I forgot Largent dropped that.
That's right.
Snap from center, and Lowry hooked it to the left.
Little Polynesian paralysis setting in.
Yes.
What they call it over here. Honolulu capacity crowd 50,402. Game locked up 6-6. By the way, they do play overtime in the Pro Bowl.
I'm sure the players would love that.
Oh, yeah. Nelms back to receive for the NFC. Pat McInally accepting the snap. A boomer. Nelms from the 5. Out to the 10. To the 20. And a good run back to the 27-yard line. A 53-yard kick and a 22-yard return. Randy Gradishar of the Broncos making the stop. 4 minutes to play. 3rd quarter. We're tied 6-6.
I do one thing. I kick this ball through those 2 poles. Do one thing all the time to get to be great. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They don't try to do everything. Just chicken, and no one else does it tender and juicy the Colonel's way.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it right for you.
I do kicking right. They do chicken right.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Now you can get on the Sports Beat every week. ABC Sports Beat next Sunday on ABC.
Pro Bowl 3rd quarter, tied 6-6. The NFC with Joe Montana back in at quarterback, starting this drive from the 27-yard line. Sims and Rogers are the running backs, and George Rogers gets it out to the 34-yard line for a gain of close to 7. A reminder, tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight, Pierre Challenger will continue his investigation with an exclusive report on how the Italian police beat the Red Brigade terrorists and rescued General James Dozier. Pierre, of course, had the inside story last year on the hostage negotiations. Some exclusive and some fascinating information coming up in the report tomorrow on ABC World News Tonight. Second down and a long 3 from the 34-yard line. Tony Dorsett looking for the first down and pushed back.
Don't think he made it. Montana trying to get a little running game going here to slow down the pass rush of the AFC. They just haven't been able to do much offensively with the NFC. AFC, on the other hand, up and down the field, but not many points.
Third and a yard with under 3 minutes to go in the period, and the double tight end set up for the NFC, Jimmy Giles on the left side and Junior Miller on the right. They're going to go to the air. Montana, if he can, losing the ball. It's a live ball, and it's Gastineau.
He scored.
Who is out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Out at the 1.
They didn't give it to him. I thought he might have scored some play. Montana got hit from the back. It was a fumble. His arm wasn't going forward. And they did not give him a touchdown. He said he went out of bounds on the half-yard line. Gastineau made some kind of play. Here we are from the end zone now. He fakes to Dorsett. Wants to go downfield. Watch from his left. Montana's going to scramble out. He gets hit from the back by Klecko. And then Gastineau picks up the ball. And the New York Jets had a big hand in this. Almost touched. I thought he scored.
Looks like it.
I mean, I thought he scored. He said he went out of bounds on the half-yard line.
Should be academic with the men they have in the backfield right now.
Well, they got Pete Johnson and Earl Campbell. Yeah. Take your choice.
If you can't get it in 4 downs, you don't deserve it. Campbell.
He's in.
He's in for the touchdown, and the AFC has the lead.
Well, turnovers have set up 2 of the 3 touchdowns, but that's kind of how it is during the season, too.
Touchdown.
Penalty against the NFC decline. 7 turnovers in the game.
I'm already here. We hear you. Yep. Mark Gastineau.
The AFC on top for the first time today. So here's Lowry and Largent. This is quite an act today.
Let's check it out now.
Mike Webster of Pittsburgh to do the snapping. Snap's good. Hole's good. Yes.
They can do it. They can do it. Yes, sir. Well, you know, up at Seattle, they fake so many field goals.
Sure.
Patera fakes a lot of field goals, and they have runs and reverses and all kind of passing off of it. I guess Largent really was used to that.
Sure.
Used to putting it down.
Still wants to know where Efren is.
Yeah.
2:18 remaining in the third period. AFC on top, trying to win the Pro Bowl for the first time in 5 cracks. Mammoth scoring drive right there.
Well, they kept the ball 4 seconds. That's pretty good.
Actually, it was a half a yard.
Well, give Joe Klecko the biggest part of the credit because he's the guy that shook Montana loose of the ball, bounced up into Gastineau's hand, and he carried it on from there.
Very similar to what happened during the regular season, of course, with the New York Jets.
They really did. Their front 4 was dominating this year. In an age when linebackers are starting to dominate defenses, Al, with the 3-man line and the 4 linebackers, you have a Lawrence Taylor, the Giants. They're one of the few teams where the front 4 still is intact and still dominates.
Lowry's kick. Mills moves over to the 6-yard line. Gets it out to the 20. And brings it now to the 27-yard line. So with that much time remaining in the third period, the NFC taking over at the 27-yard line. There's a penalty flag back at the 35-yard line. Somebody may have come across the line before Lowry put it in the air.
Probably offsides, I would think. Nobody wants to accept. The AFC say refuse it, because they don't want to cover the kickoff
That's
again.
right.
Offside on the kick, number 31 of the kickers. Penalty is declined. It's first down.
You call it.
That is funny. That is funny. These guys refuse this penalty. The same guys that were covering are probably down playing defense. One time down is enough. All right, Joe Montana.
Montana on first down from the 28-yard line. Flushed out of the pocket and throwing incomplete, intended for Billy Sims. Covered on the play by Gary Green, number 24.
The play started off rather bad. I think Montana expected Sims to come in and fake, and he didn't, and it just wasn't coordinated very well. And he had incompletion.
Get a group of guys together, you have a week with them. You really have to simplify the things offensively in a sense, and at least in terms of the language.
Well, sometimes you say Earl Campbell off tackle left, Earl off tackle right. And I'm going to throw to you, Dwight, out there 10 yards on the left. It's kind of barnyard football.
On 2nd and 10 to the 27. Montana under a lot of heat, and down he goes. Ball coming loose, but after the whistle at the 18-yard line, buried by Klecko.
Klecko again, but all 4 defensive linemen were in there that time. Big Hands Johnson was in and got the pressure up the middle. Art Still from the outside. Klecko got the sack.
At the 18-yard line, need to move it out to the 38, Steve Bartkowski of the Falcons, who along with Montana has been quarterbacking the NFC, looking on. 3rd down, 19 from just outside the 18-yard line. Montana trying to set up the screen, and it's read perfectly. George Rogers making the catch, and Bob Swenson coming in.
Swenson's been an unheralded linebacker. You know, at Denver, a lot of them have got more publicity than he has. Gradishar, and they've been good. Jackson's up there, but Swenson, day in, day out, is as good a linebacker as Denver has, and an excellent player.
Swenson and Gradishar both AFC representatives. That's Carl Roaches standing at his own 46-yard line. Tom Skladany of the Lions to kick it out of the end zone. Low kick, and on the run it's Roaches from the NFC 46, circling back, and down he goes at the 50-yard line. It's Lawrence Taylor who came flying down to make the tackle.
I cannot believe how fast Lawrence Taylor could run. Roaches had the corner made. Lawrence Taylor comes out of nowhere from the inside, pulls him down with one hand. It shows something of the caliber of play that Lawrence Taylor has been giving you the entire year.
Lawrence Taylor, a rookie. We've got a few of them in the game. Everson Walls, key interception in the first half. Ronnie Lott, of course, sensational year. George Rogers.
Chris Collinsworth. Yeah, a lot of more than I can remember in a long time.
Joe Delaney of Kansas City. On first down from the 49, Fouts has a lot of time and then loses the ball, but picks it back up and is dropped at the 45-yard line. Doug English of the Lions was the man who dislodged it.
We mentioned Ed Too Tall Jones taking a year off to box a couple of years ago. Well, Doug English took last season off to drill oil wells and came back and had a great year. Here he is coming from the back of Fouts. Fouts goes back, putting his arm back. English hits his arm. They ruled it a fumble, but watch Fouts hop on it. He is tough.
At the 45-yard line, second down, call it 16. And the AFC will be content to let the clock tick down and run out. A couple of seconds remaining in the quarter. And there's the gun. So 15 minutes to go in the Pro Bowl at Honolulu after 3. It's the AFC 13 and the NFC 6. Fourth quarter in Honolulu. Al Michaels with Fran Tarkenton, Lynn Swan, and Russ Francis at the Pro Bowl. With 15 minutes to go, the AFC leading the NFC 13-6. The AFC with the ball. Second down and 16 from the 45-yard line. Dan Fouts of San Diego throwing for Watson at the 35-yard line and incomplete.
Dan didn't know which way to go that time. He was looking all over the field. Finally, he spotted Watson, but really didn't have his feet set to deliver a typical Dan Fouts type pass, and then he underthrew him. His performance in overtime, you mentioned it before, Al, against the Dolphins, was really a gunny performance. All of them were tired, and he just drove his team down to the field to get the field goal to win the game. He is really a tough, tough quarterback.
Classic game. Third down, 16. And Fouts hit at the 41-yard line. Tuchel Jones, number 72, for the sack.
There again, they were all in there. Charlie Johnson, Doug English, Fred Dean has flushed him out of the pocket. Tuchel got the sack.
Pat McInally coming in to do the punting on fourth down and 20.
Well, the defensive backs have won the battle against the offensive receivers, Al, but the defensive linemen have won their battle in the trenches, too. They've really rushed the passers today.
Mike Nelms of Washington back at the 20. McInally, high kick. Nelms at the 8. Past the 20, the 30, and out to the 39-yard line, tackled by Ed Newman. A 51-yard kick, but a 31-yard run back. The kick return specialist, only representative of the Redskins here.
It's really hard to get a kick return lineup in this thing, so he just got to take what he can get, and here you just see individual effort. Breaks a few tackles in the first, gets a little seam, gets a good return. The best run back we've had all day long. That's a little Hawaiian hello.
From the 39-yard line. With a penalty marker down, Rogers takes it out to the 42. And a flag at the 40. Illegal motion, initially indicating against the defense, which is impossible.
Look at the domination. Look especially at total yards. AFC 259, NFC 70 yards. NFC leads in turnovers also. You'd think it'd be a lopsided game. However, it's not. 13-6.
Illegal motion, number 81 of the offense, still first down.
Steve Watson was the man moving illegally. First down and 15 from the 34-yard line. Joe Montana. They're set for a couple. Well, a man who's no stranger to the Pro Bowl, of course, working with us today, Russ Francis played in a couple of these, retired this season. Surprised everybody. He's been working with us. Russ, I'm curious. You've been out a year now, and I'm curious as to what you're going to be doing next year at this time.
Are you?
Yes. Are you going to answer me?
Listen, this is Hawaii. It's tough to think about going out there and hitting yourself and getting hurt and everything when you're standing in glorious sunshine like this. But to answer your question now, when I made the decision to retire from football, I left it open whether to come back or play. I'll make that decision as the year progresses.
What do you
think, Al?
Well, as we take a look at the play, we'll get back in a moment. A fumble at the 40-yard line.
I think the NFC recovered.
They did.
I've I've got an opinion whether Russ Francis is going to play again next year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play.
I do too.
I don't know where.
Well, you guys go ahead and flip the coin, and when you get an answer, let me know. I'll go ahead and do whatever you guys want me to do.
Do you miss it? Do you miss playing?
I do. You know, Al, standing down here, Francis can tell you all the way up into the booth there, what it feels like to be down here on the field and with the contact and the noise and the grunts and the groans. Yeah, I miss all that. Everything but the pain.
Don't blame it. All right. 3rd down and 9 from the 40-yard line. Montana. Rolling to his left. He's got another marker down. Finds Dwight Clark at the 35. Clark gets brought down from behind at the 15 by Donnie Shell. But remember, a marker down back at the 34-yard line. A 45-yard pass and run.
That was a pretty play. It's going to be nullified. You know, they say Dwight Clark is not very fast, and until he catches the ball, he's not really fast. But once he catches the ball, it's like a new jet takes over, and he really takes off. That was a pretty play. Montana and Dwight Clark are getting to be quite a thing.
Each in his 3rd year in the league, each in his first Pro Bowl. Here's Red Cashin.
Holding number 67 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Pat Donovan of Dallas. Donovan probably saying, that'll teach you guys to beat us in the championship game.
All right, let's watch this again. Here's Dwight Clark running against Mel Blount. He gets a little shove there, which he can do within 5 yards. Nothing much going. Montana now starting to scramble around. Look at that. Clark takes a dip in and out, and watch him take off right here. He really takes off. Donnie Shell gets him. Nice play.
On 3rd down and 19 from the 30-yard line. Montana, after stumbling, running out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Well shy of the 1st down. And so the AFC will get it back with 12 minutes and 12 seconds.
We're testing Jumpin' Joe's ability to scramble today because he's not getting much protection. Doing it pretty well, too. These guys really have a great time over here for the week. They bring their wives, their families, and a lot of parties for them. They get to meet each other, see each other, make new friends. It's a great week after a long, tough season.
Very few no-shows when you hold this one in Hawaii.
That's right. I might even have showed up myself.
Skladany, the kick. Long kick. Roaches from the 9. Fouled to the 20. And dropped at the 24, 52-yard punt. We've had some boomers today from Skladany and McAnally, and a 15-yard return. Exactly 12 minutes to go, and the AFC leads by a touchdown. Half of the American Conference at the 24-yard line with 12 minutes to go in the Pro Bowl. Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, over 50,000 looking on. Anderson 6 out of 10. Fouts 5 out of 11 from 96 yards. It's Anderson guiding this drive from the 24-yard line. Delaney, the Kansas City rookie, out to the 29-yard line. Fred Dean wrapping him up.
Out there, low scoring and no scoring. These guys are really playing. I watched Doug English that time from inside tackle position. There we see the bruised right knee of Gastineau. But I watched Doug English from the inside there. Here he chased the play for about 20 to 25 yards, finally got into the tackle. This is a man that's 6'5", 260 pounds, and it's hot here. Some effort.
Then he hasn't played a game in 6 weeks.
That's right.
2nd down and 6 from the 28-yard line. Anderson, as he did quite often during the regular season, running to the 35-yard line and picks up the 1st down. Saw Gastineau with the ice. Bruised right knee. Report is out for the rest of the day.
You know, I don't remember when Kenny Anderson first came up running anywhere near as much as he's running now. This seemed to be a phenomenon just of this year, in fact, that he took advantage of his ability to run with the football, and it was a very effective tool in the offensive scheme of the Cincinnati Bengals.
He's had some knee problems in the past. Hurt a good part of last season. 32 years old now in his 11th year on first down from the 35-yard line. Going deep for Collinsworth and knocked away at the last moment by Roynell Young of the Eagles.
What a play by Roynell Young. He had to time his leap perfectly in order to prevent a touchdown or a long gain on the pass, and that he did. We talked about how great the athletes are. In the reverse angle here, watch Roynell Young in the blue jersey. Got Collinsworth covered well, but watch him go up at the right time. Knocked the ball away, did not touch him. No interference call. He's a pretty good athlete to do that.
He probably watched Eric Wright in the Super Bowl, who had Collinsworth blanketed on that 49-yard play and still couldn't stop him from catching the pass. Roynell getting a hand on it, so we're back to the 35-yard line, second down and 10, 11:06 to go in the game. Anderson for Collinsworth again, covered well, Ronnie Lott.
Now, Ronnie Lott is playing the opposite cornerback that he normally plays out, and that is very difficult. And yet, all day long, I've been watching it in a strange position he's playing. He's covered everybody well. The reason it's so hard, they have to adjust their feet differently, and it's just a much harder read for them and an adjustment for them. Same thing from going to the left defensive end to right defensive end. They stagger different legs and push off of different feet as they make their move.
Third down and 10 from the 35-yard line. It's Winslow to the 48-yard line and a first down. Kellen Winslow, 6'5", 242, third year out of Missouri. Dwight Hicks of the 49ers making the tackle. Don Shula seeking his third career Pro Bowl victory.
I played in his first career Pro Bowl victory. I was a backup to a quarterback by the name of Johnny Unitas. No, it's Unitas. Unitas is his name.
Heard of him.
Wore big high tops.
First down from the 48-yard line. It's Pete Johnson going nowhere. AFC on top. 13-6.
Much was written during Super Bowl week about the role Bill Walsh had in developing Ken Anderson, Joe Montana, Dan Fouts. And long before I ever met Bill Walsh, I always thought he was the best quarterback teacher in the game of football. And I think it's been proven out now that he certainly is. There's something to being able to teach a quarterback how to play once he gets up here. Because most of the guys have all the skills to be good players.
On second down and 11, Anderson sacked back at the 39. Leroy Spellman again. He's had quite a day.
And Randy White also had a hand in that. Many times the guy that gets the sack for the other guy, like Randy White did there, he flushed him out of the pocket. And Spellman got the sack.
Back at the 40-yard line. Third down. 20 coming up. Talking about Bill Walsh. Interesting, of course, he was an assistant with the Bengals, passed over for the head job, then went to San Diego as an assistant for 1 year. Then 2 years at Stanford. Some people forget that, but when he was with the Cardinals, he had probably the most imaginative, innovative offense in college football in 77 and 78. Anderson to the sideline to Lewis at the 40-yard line. He's got it at the 41. Frank Lewis, there's a fellow who's been in the league a long time and finally gets to play in a Pro Bowl game. Number 82 from the Buffalo Bills, 11 years in the league out of Grambling. Pro Bowl number 1 for him.
Came up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They then traded him to Buffalo, where the Steelers got receivers like Stallworth and Swan. Here he is. Good, solid receiver for a long, long time. Knows how to keep those feet in bounds, too. He's done that a few times.
3 yards shy of the first, so the AFC to kick. McAnally will try to angle it. NFC dropping Milnes back. shooting for the corner. And at the 3-yard line, getting down in a hurry to down it, Gary Green, who was the outside man, went flying down to down it inside the 5. 38-yard punt, 8:55 to go, and the AFC leading the NFC by 7. Just a few clouds hovering above the mountains. Look out past Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, the Pro Bowl, with 8:55 remaining in the game. AFC on top, 13-6. The NFC with the ball at the 5-yard line. Steve Bartkowski, incomplete, looking for Alfred Jenkins of the Falcons.
And he had his teammate open, but you could tell that Bart's been off for about 6 weeks, and hard to get that arm back in shape after just 1 week of work. And he does have an arm. He even has an arm and a half.
Or 7/8. Guys starting to get a little tired right now, obviously. It's hot. Hottest part of the day normally here. Hours between noon and 2. It's about 10:02 in Hawaii. Second down and 10. Gastineau back in the game. Initially they said he was out for the rest of the day, and we nearly have a safety. Gastineau smelling the potential safety. The AFC thinks it should be called that way. And the officials confer. Where did they get him? No, they say.
Well, it comes down to just strict judgment on the officials' part, and theirs as good as anybody's. They're right down on top of the play, but that... Watch it here. It's a draw play. Dorsett back in the end zone. He got 1 foot in the end zone, maybe 1 foot on the playing field, but they don't give him the safety anyway. Gastineau came back and became a hero once again. Came from the knee injury onto the turf.
Third down, 14.
Bartkowski saying, now what?
And a fumble at the 2-yard line. NFC has it. So the AFC nearly gets a safety, nearly gets a recovery at the 2. The NFC will be able to kick it away. We think. Slovenia's not going to have much room.
No, he's not. But they won't block a punt in this game.
Now that you've said that.
Watch it happen.
Yeah.
I also said they scored a lot of points in this game.
Well, we still have 7:20 to go, Fran.
Yeah.
13-6. AFC on top. Randy Cross of the 49ers, who normally is a guard, will do the snapping for Spladany.
Hendricks almost blocked it.
Good kick to the 47. Roaches across the 50 and run out of bounds at the 42 after a 51-yard kick. So Spladany backed up with no room at all. Gets off another beauty. 6:56 remaining in the game. AFC with the ball and the lead. In the Pro Bowl, the AFC leading 13-6, and with under 7 minutes to go, probably try to chew up some of the clock as they have it at the NFC 41-yard line. Dan Fouts leading this drive. Campbell and Muncie are the split-backs. They won't chew the clock up. Going in the air instead, and Muncie can't hang on. Sam Huff will be going into the Hall of Fame. He'll be inducted in August. He's here with Russ Francis.
Well, I'm standing here around with a gentleman that I greatly admire, Mr. Sam Huff, a great middle linebacker, one of the original middle linebackers of the New York Giants. You've won many honors, Sam. How does this count? How do you feel about this one?
Well, I'll tell you, Russ, this is the last hurrah. You know, the NFL Hall of Fame is something you always dream about making, but you never really think you have a chance. And I'm just so proud. It's been the greatest week of my life. I'm just so happy that I finally made it.
Great.
On second down, 10. Draw to Muncie, and a penalty flag is thrown as Chuck gets to the 40-yard line. Go back to Russ.
Well, Sam, you know, you were one of the more intense players, the more aggressive players playing at that time at middle linebacker. How has the game changed? And as you mentioned earlier as we were talking, it's a lot different being right down here on the field.
Well, it really is, Russ. You know, a lot of times you forget about how much contact there is in this game. When you get down here, you realize there's still a lot of contact in the game. But it's changed a lot because now it's so technical, and with the passing game that Pete Rozelle has made out of it, a linebacker, if he makes a great hit, a second down and 10, he's now out of the game. So I said the other day that if I was still playing, I'd let the back gain 4, so it'd be 2nd and 6, so I get to play the second down.
Well, congratulations from all of us.
Thank you, Russ. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. Glad I didn't have to...
Yep, we've got the 4 men going in. Meanwhile, a penalty on the last play for offside against the AFC at the 40-yard line on 3rd down and 9. Dobbs protected well this time, but has it picked off at the 25-yard line by Everson Wall. Second interception of the day for the man who led the league as a rookie in interceptions with 11.
He is uncanny. There's Larger running this pattern down the field on Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott's got good coverage on him. Everson Walls now coming off of whoever he was covering and makes the play. That's twice he's done that today. Tremendous instinct for knowing where the ball's going to be.
So 11 during
81,
the regular season,
and 2 during 82. That's, well, maybe he had some of the playoffs too that we're not counting, but that's 13 that we can count here.
NFC, that's the 8th turnover in the game. From the 27-yard line, it's Bartkowski for Jenkins. Has him out at the 48-yard line. And the 2 Steelers converge to knock him down, Donnie Shell and Mel Blunt.
Well, Bartkowski's got the kind of arm that can get him back in the game very quickly. He's got a strong arm. As we'll take a look at the reverse angle, Bartkowski's getting some of the cobwebs out after 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Throws a strike to his old teammate Jenkins, all 160 pounds of him.
Seventh year out of Morris Brown, one of 7 Falcons in the game. 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Bartkowski, the short drop, and incomplete.
Trying to hit Junior Miller, Al, a teammate of his. And Junior Miller really didn't have the year this year that he had his rookie year. He only caught 32 balls, blocked well for him, but they didn't use him in their offensive scheme very much. A big talent.
Miller is the only substitute in this game. Of the 80 men named, only 1 couldn't make it. That was Joe Sensor of the Minnesota Vikings, the tight end. He was injured, and so Miller took his place.
And I'm sure Joe Sensor would have loved to have been here. He had a great year for the Vikings, but his first Pro Bowl, only 2nd year of the league.
On 2nd and 10, Bartkowski trying to find Jenkins again and let him too much. Again, it's Blunt and Shell from the Steelers, the coverage.
They're trying to double Alfred there, and Alfred had him beat again, and Bart just couldn't get it to him.
.43 remaining in the game. AFC on top. 13-6 in the Pro Bowl at Honolulu. 3rd down and 10 from the 47. Bartkowski complete, and a flag is thrown at the 36-yard line. Giles making the catch.
Jimmy Giles from Tampa Bay Bucks, and I think that's going to be a defensive pass interference penalty. Gain should stay.
Pass interference. Number 24 on the defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
Gary Green, the man. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, you'll be seeing Code Red, followed by today's FBI and the ABC Sunday night movie, Slapshot, starring Paul Newman. That's next, except on the West Coast. On the West Coast, coming up next, the Superstar. 1st down from the 36-yard line. Bartkowski looking for James Lofton of Green Bay, and incomplete, and fighting the sun. Gary Green back there covering.
The defensive back backs once again are amazing. Watch Lofton here trying to go outside to get down the field on Gary Green. Cuts back inside. But he cannot find anywhere to run. Gary Green just blanketed him again. And we've seen that all day long by all of these cornerbacks on the premier receivers in the world. Boy, we've seen good cornerback play. James Lofton can run as well as anybody. Can get open.
2nd and 10 from the 36.
With reverse.
Dorsett faking the reverse.
Watch out.
Inside the 30. Tony inside the 20 and dragged down by Donnie Shell at the 17-yard line.
What a play by Donnie Shell. How would you like to be one-on-one with Tony D? My goodness. Donnie Shell, he's faking him inside, outside. Double stepping him, triple stepping him. Watch this. They're going to fake the reverse. The pitch back to Dorsett. He fakes to Lofton. Then he turns it on as only he can do. Watch the speed. Watch him accelerate. And then Donnie Shell gets there. And party's over.
17-yard line. 1st and 10 for the NFC. They trail by 7. Trying to thread his way through Tony this time, and he gets a couple.
Now that was the most delayed draw I think I've ever seen. It was a draw, and Tony D got it and said, I don't know where to go.
Second down, 8. Shula's club on top, but tenuously at this point.
And they got a fresh back in the game. Number 20, Billy Sims. Not a bad fresh back to have in there.
Bartkowski throwing it out of the end zone for Jimmy Giles.
And Jimmy Giles is open again, but old Bart's timing just isn't there. He needs to throw it a hair quicker because Giles is running out of end zone. Here we go. Bart's going back. Pretty good protection now. The defensive linemen are getting a little worn down from all the rushing they've done today. Bart throws it a little late. He throws a strike, but not soon enough.
Out by plenty.
Yep.
Jimmy contesting the call for seeking interference. He wasn't close on either count. 3rd down and 8 from the 15.
Lofton. No deal.
So it's 4th down coming up. Lester Hayes back with him, and Septien is going to come in to perhaps try to tack on 3 unless they go to the gadget.
Well, I'm a little surprised they're not trying to go and score. 3:47, 7 points down. Now they're going to take a timeout and talk about it.
As is the case in the regular season, 3 timeouts per half. That's their first. 3:47 to go. 4th down upcoming, and the AFC on top by 7. Beautiful day weather-wise.
It really has. And NFC now has got a 4th down and 8. Kind of a last hurrah for them here. And could tie it up if they can convert.
Again, as is the case in the regular season, you go into overtime, and as is the case in a playoff game, they can play forever. Sudden death. 4th down. After they had set in Septien initially, they'll go for it from the 15-yard line. Bartkowski stepping up, has some room inside the 5-yard line, and a 1st down. So Bartkowski able to step up as they converge from the outside, had a lot of open space and exploits it.
And you won't see that often. During 16 regular season games, Bartkowski ran only 11 times for, I think, a half-yard average for a rush.
So on a 4th down play, he picks up the first. Clock running with 3:05 remaining. Raphael Septien hopeful of getting on for what would be the tying extra point
And they're taking a lot of time in the huddle when they do that. Normally it's a pass. Let's see.
Lofton split to the right on first down from inside the 5. They pitch it to Dorsett. Back of Sims, who lays down a nice block and gets him in there.
Billy Sims did give him a good block. And he turned the corner. Man, when he turns the corner, I don't know of anybody I've ever seen turn the corner as quick as he can. Well, you might think we'd have as we look at the end zone replay here, when he gets a block right there by Dorsett on Swinson, or by Sims, in for the touchdown, you would think that we'd have an automatic tie game here. But the extra point has not been automatic.
Anything but. Different snapper, different holder, different kicker. You've got Cromwell of the Rams holding for Septien.
All right.
And we're tied. 2 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. As the NFC on a drive led by Bartkowski, who picks up the key first down on 4th and 8 from the 15, tying it up to 13 all.
Third and 8 and Bartkowski runs for 10. Now what are the odds of that ever happening? Just no odds.
After they had sent in Septien initially and then called the timeout. Figured they would go for it.
Well, it's been an unpredictable season, so I guess it goes right along with it.
No field goals today. 2 touchdowns for each side. A couple of missed extra points.
All right, here goes Bartkowski back. You see the 4 men rushing. They can out-blitz. They peel him out of there. Got nothing but green turf in front of him. No players show up at all on the AFC side of it. They're downfield covering the pass. Bartkowski had an easy run down to the 5.
So Shula's AFC troops will get the ball back and try to at least get into field goal range. They have all of their timeouts remaining.
Now the run doesn't hurt the quarterback. It's the sudden stop that gets to you.
Septien to the 3-yard line as Roaches out to the 10, to the 20, and they'll start from the 26-yard line. Gary Fensick of the Bears making the tackle. TD.
Cool down, Tony. Cool down. His feet are smoking too. Put out the fire.
74 yards in just under 4 minutes with Dorsett capping it. 2:34 remaining. Game tied at 13. And Fouts, the quarterback, giving it to Campbell. Earl to the outside. And shoved down at the 29-yard line by Lawrence Taylor.
I mean, Lawrence Taylor met Earl Campbell head on head. What a collision that was, and Lawrence Taylor didn't give an inch. 2 giants, I'm telling you.
Clock stop, 2:27.
Watch here. Here's Campbell. Lawrence Taylor, right hand up. Look at his head snap back, but he didn't give anything.
On 2nd and 7. Fouts. Incomplete. Intended for Ozzie Newsome out at the 41, but we've got a flag.
Got a flag for pass interference. I think it was called against Cromwell. Could have been called against Blair. But that is the call.
So it'll be a first down. Close to the 41-yard line.
All right, let's watch the end of the play right here at the top of the screen. That's what they must have called it on Blair at the end. We couldn't quite tell what it was.
Contact. Number 59 on the defense. First down.
That's the man, Matt Blair. Crowd doesn't like the call. If they're rooting for either team, I would think they're rooting for the NFC, judging by the crowd pattern today. 35-yard line. Campbell, we've got another flag. Yep. There was movement in the line prior to the snap. Earl out to the 41-yard line.
I would think that's probably a good observation out there. I know there are a lot of 49er fans over here.
Exactly.
I was over here for Super Bowl Sunday, and a lot of people here from the 49ers.
Exactly. There's a great affinity for several reasons with San Francisco. Geographically, it's close, obviously. People from the Bay Area making their home here, vacationing here a lot. And they really sort of adopted the 49ers, and not just recently. They're not fair weather fans. It's always been a 49er type of situation here, rooting for San Francisco.
Lead on the defense, still first down.
All right, this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Prohibited.
That's incredible. First down from the 40-yard line. Bounce to Watson.
What a move by Steve Watson. What a move. He was covered. He got open somehow. He got way open. I'm impressed with Steve Watson.
And the clock has run down to the 2-minute warning as the AFC tries to get into a situation where they can win it on a field goal. 2 minutes to go, and we're tied 13-13. First and 10 for the American Conference at the 44-yard line. With Bounce in charge. Pass to Newsome at the 37. He was wrapped up by Matt Blair and held on.
I'll tell you, Dan Fouts in this situation is TUF tough.
Gain of 8.
He just sometimes wills the ball to a receiver. He finds a way to get it there. He fights off the rush, whatever it takes.
Second down and a short 2. And it's Campbell through the middle. And he picks up the first down and gets it to the 28 as they move into field goal range. Thank our spotter, Steve Bazika from Canton, Ohio. Researcher, statistician, Jerry Klein. All the guys on the crew drawing tough duty.
Yeah. They really didn't want to come out here.
Yeah, I know it. They're going to stop the clock here with 1:19. Caught a glimpse of Lowry, who can atone for what's happened before with a potential game-winning field goal. Right now they are in field goal range at the 29-yard line. You're talking about a 46-yard attempt.
Yep, that's about right. I would sure Lowry would like to get a little closer than that, but it's certainly within his range.
And they've got time to get it closer, and they've got a first down.
So with all that going for them, you would think, how they might get it closer.
Absolutely.
Hey.
But then again, on any given Sunday, right? You got to close the year with the number one cliche of all time, right?
That's right.
This is the last football game for 6 months.
On any given Sunday, Cincinnati and San Francisco might play for the Super Bowl.
You never know. Or the Pro Bowl could go into overtime.
All right. Dan Fouts has got it figured out. He's trying to give a few words back to Earl Campbell. Not a bad choice just to give it to him. And he did.
And he only gets a yard or 2.
Randy White was at the bottom of that, and he stopped it from going any farther.
Put it down at the 28-yard line. Pickup of 1. Campbell goes out, and Muncie comes in, and the clock is running with 1:02, 1:01, and now exactly a minute to play.
Well, we don't need to make this as dramatic as a regular season game, but they do want to use all the clock and leave no time for the NFC to come back, even if they attempt a field goal or a touchdown.
On 2nd and 9, Fouts has Winslow wide open inside the 10, and Killen gets to the 5-yard line.
I'll tell you, that Winslow is something else.
Fouts and Winslow, who did it all season long for San Diego, picking up the first down here with 40 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and the AFC has just taken another timeout.
I think they've got a pretty decent chance of breaking the 4-year jinx of the NFC in the Pro Pro Bowl.
Been that long. NFC has won 4 straight, 6 out of 7. Winslow, by the way, has now caught 6 passes today for a total of 86 yards.
During the course of the season, to show his versatility, he also threw 2 passes. Didn't complete either one.
His 6 catches, by the way, ties a Pro Bowl record, most receptions in a game. John Stallworth of the Steelers caught 6 2 years ago. First down, goal to go at the 5. Campbell and Muncie are the running backs. Chuck Muncie can't turn it in and gets bumped out of bounds at the 6-yard line on a play that ate up only 4 seconds.
Everson Walls, number 24, not only can defend against passes, he came up and put a big hit on Muncie to keep him from scoring. How was Everson Walls? Was he a free agent this year? We said a low draft choice. He's either a low draft choice or a free agent.
Walls out of Grambling.
We know that. Jerry Klein, you ought to know that. Was he a free agent or a low draft pick? Had to be one or the other.
On second and goal, it is Johnson, at least keeping it in front of the goalpost, if nothing else. And they may stop the clock, and they do, with 29 seconds.
I would think Shula might want to try to score. They've had trouble with these extra points.
You don't know, sure.
Remember in that tremendous playoff game between San Diego and Miami that went into overtime, there were about 3 field goals missed there at the end of the game and 2 in overtime. They could have won.
Exactly. Just checked it out on Walls for you. Free agent. You're right.
I thought maybe free agent. Dallas has a way of doing that, don't they? They go out. Gil Brandt doesn't do a bad job there. Been doing it for about 20 years.
Man does his homework.
He gets free agents out of nowhere that come out to be big stars in the National Football League.
Meanwhile, the AFC has let the clock run down to 6 seconds, and they've called a timeout to attempt a game-winning field goal. As they let the clock run down to 6, it's Lowry to try to win it.
And they're having trouble getting the right number of people on the field.
Yep, Dean just now running off as Largent gets set to hold. Webster to do the snapping, and it should be easy for Lowry.
Here we go.
We'll see. 23-yarder, straight ahead.
He made it.
He did. Nick Lowry of Kansas City.
That's a great sight right there. Did you see Jack Lambert come back? He was blocking for the field goal. He runs back. He hugs Lowry like it's the biggest game in the world. Don't tell me these guys don't care or don't want to win. They do. And they're excited. It's a great finish to their trip, and it takes a little luster off the players from the NFC's trip. They've had a great time, but not to win. It hits a little bit hard to them.
Sure, you get down into a close game like this, a few seconds remaining, $2,500 difference per man. Kellen Winslow, the key catch on the drive. He's with Lynn Swan.
Winslow, you've been doing it all year. Another key catch in the drive. Did you see a certain hole in the defense?
Well, they've been giving us double coverage, a double roll zone all day long, something that the coaches agreed not to do, but they've been doing it all day long, and we finally capitalized on it. It's a pattern we run in San Diego all the time. I have the option to read the coverage. Dan picked it up, I picked it up, and it's just a great play for us.
Where do you get your courage from? You've been doing it year after year, even though you're new in the league, but phenomenal ability just to keep going. How do you do it?
Then I just love to play. That's all there is to it. I enjoy being out here. I enjoy being out here in front of fans, pleasing them, and I enjoy pleasing myself, and that's playing football.
Continued greatness.
Thank you.
Back to you, Al.
All right, Swanee, and with 3 seconds to go, time for only a run back as Lowry gets set to kick off for the AFC. NFC has one chance now, and that's to run it back all the way. See what kind of a technique comes up with here. A little ground ball. Fielded up at the 28-yard line by one of the NFC linemen. And that will do it. So no Triple Crown for the NFC. They win the interconference battle, win the Super Bowl, but the AFC snaps its drought by winning the Pro Bowl for the first time in 5 years. Lowry with the field goal to do it as the AFC wins it. The final score 16-13. Now for those of